The division title in his second full year as manager. Roger Gray. His 462 average for all Giants against the Cardinals this season. Batting first, the second baseman, Robbie Thompson. 22 homers, batted 306 after the trade to the Giants. Batting second, third baseman, Devin Mitchell. He set a career high in the double. Second of the full bases. Third hitter, left fielder, Leonard.
Apparently we are having some difficulty picking up the public address, so here are the Giants as they make their way for the introduction. Andy Maldonado. Pena missed 6 weeks with an injury, but still ranks second on the club with 85 RBIs. He set a personal high with 24 home runs, including 4 against the Cards. He's batting fifth in center field, Chili Davis. A former U.S. Olympian who led the club with 35 homers, 91 RBIs, and batting sixth, first baseman Will Clark. Over the last 4 years, he's averaged 18 home runs. His total for the season, he's catching and batting seventh. That is Bob Brenly. And this man enjoyed his best offensive season of his career, hitting .291, hitting eighth. Shortstop Jose Uribe, and there is the starter warming up in the left field bullpen, starting pitcher and batting ninth, Rick Russell. So Rick Russell, 38-year-old, who pitched 3 2-hitters this season. He ranked number 4 in the National League in earned run average. And now the National League East Division champion St. Louis Cardinals. First the coaching staff and the non-starters. So the Cardinals, hearing it from the crowd. In his 8th year as manager of the Cardinals, Whitey Herzog. Man who ran away with this year's Major League stolen base title, had 109. He is batting first, left fielder Vince Coleman. In the number 2 position, 8-time Gold Glove winner, who had a big season in average and in the RBI department, the Wizard of Oz, Ozzie Smith. Playing second base and batting third, 83 RBIs. Second on the club in game-winning RBIs, Tommy Herr. And here's the man replacing the injured Jack Clark, making his 4th appearance in league championship play. He's hitting fourth, first baseman Dan Dreesen. In the number 5 spot with 105 RBIs to set a new Cardinal record for center fielders, Willie McGee. In the number 6 slot, playing third base, he had that key home run against the Mets. 96 RBIs in all, Terry Pendleton. In right field, as a pinch hitter, came up with a batting average of .389 this season. He's hitting 7th, Kurt Ford. And batting 8th and catching. Playing in his first LCS, here's Tony Pena. And warming up in the right field bullpen, one of 3 11-game winners on the Cardinals staff. Apparently he has made it to the dugout. And he is replacing the injured Danny Cox. As we mentioned earlier, Cox out with that stiff neck. So Greg Matthews draws the nod. Record of 11-11 this season. So there are the starting lineups. And right now, the Cardinals and Giants awaiting the singing of our national anthem.
Ladies and gentlemen, the St. Louis Cardinals are proud to welcome one of our country's most popular Hispanic entertainers to perform the national anthem at tonight's National League Championship game. Please give a St. Louis welcome to Anacani.
And this is Anacani to sing our national anthem. Connie singing our national anthem. In a moment, Vince Scully and Joe Garagiola with the play-by-play. I'm Marv Albert. We'll be back in St. Louis after this NBC News Digest.
This is NBC News Digest. Here is Tom Brokaw, NBC News.
Good evening. The full Senate may vote as early as next week on the nomination of Robert Bork to the Supreme Court. The White House says it will not give up the fight for confirmation, even though the Senate Judiciary Committee voted 9-5 against Bork today. On Wall Street today, stock prices declined sharply. The Dow Jones Industrial Average suffered its biggest one-day drop in history. And the incoming director of the FBI, former federal judge William Sessions, has been placed back in a hospital suffering from a relapse from a bleeding ulcer. I'm Tom Brokaw in New York. More news later on this NBC station.
The most dramatic series on television returns.
Being an adult American citizen means having the right to make your own choices.
How about murder, Mr. Fredericks? Do you want that right, too?
Objection.
The winner of 5 Emmy Awards.
Have we consummated our deal, Mr. Becker?
I believe that we have.
Opening with an exciting season premiere.
Good.
Thursday, October 15th. L.A. Law.
There are about 20 small sedans to choose from out there. But if you're looking for the best value, you can stop right here. The new Mazda 323 SE has a bunch of technical sophistication like fuel injection, a long list of standard features, all backed by the best warranty in its class. You've got to check out this Mazda 323.
It's all part of our intense commitment to your total satisfaction. That's the Mazda way.
Get a great Mazda deal in Provo, Murray, Salt Lake City, Bountiful, Ogden, and Logan.
Enter a world of lucky ladies and dramatic dancers on the next Entertainment Tonight. First, find out if Sally Field will ever surrender to Michael Caine.
I'm not going to tell. Do we, give away all our secrets here?
Then see how James Woods got his first big break as our special series Breakout continues. Plus, you'll get an exclusive preview of the latest movie moves of Mikhail Baryshnikov in Dancers on the next Entertainment Tonight.
Right after Johnny Carson on KUTV2 together.
Weekdays at 6:30.
NBC Sports presents the 1987 National League Championship Series. Tonight from Busch Memorial Stadium, the San Francisco Giants versus the St. Louis Cardinals. Brought to you by Miller Brewing Company, sole sponsor of the U.S. Olympic Training Center. By Buick, and again this year, as it has for 85 years, the great American road belongs to Buick. By Allstate, for home, auto, and life insurance, you're in good hands with Allstate. And by the people of Holiday Inn Hotels, who salute you. Here's to the winners. We're on your way. Hi, everybody. I'm Vin Scully, along with Joe Garagiola. Welcome to Game 1 of the National League Championship Series, and already a headline before Game 1 even starts.
Whitey's had injuries all year long, and we thought Danny Cox was going to pitch tonight. He's out, and Matthews will be the pitcher, but that's been the story of the Cardinals all year.
Indeed, so a left-hander on the mound, meaning the Giants will change their lineup. But when you look at the two teams, no matter who's pitching, there's a totally different sense of attack.
Definitely. The Cardinals have to manufacture runs. Clark is out of the lineup. They have no legitimate home run hitter. That means they'll be running.
And the Giants, of course, relying on pitching, bullpen, plus a ball club that generates a lot of runs. They are second in the National League in home runs. They hit 16 home runs against the Cardinals, 9 here in St. Louis.
The pitching tonight, though, with the Giants, Russell looks like he might be able to stop some of that Cardinal attack because he does have a good move. He does pitch low, meaning ground balls, but I guess the big battle will come when Coleman gets on base.
And the defense, of course, on both sides will be very much up in the air. The Giants #1 in the major leagues in turning to double plays, but the Cardinals are no slouch, especially on AstroTurf.
Well, you know, when they talk about building a ball club for a ballpark, the Cardinals are built here, but you have to think defense. They can cut the gap. They can stop that ball from going there, and they get to it quickly, so that's why they're built for this ballpark.
And if it means anything, in 6 games played during the regular year, they split the 6, but it should be noted that in 4 of those 6, Vince Coleman was not playing for St. Louis. We'll check the starting lineups. We'll have all the pregame stats and stories all coming up right after this.
I'm here having a couple of Miller Lights with the world's funniest tennis coach, Jan Tiriak. This guy's a million laughs. Hey, remember the one you told me about the chicken and the tennis ball? That just cracked me up. Here, have another Miller Light. Yeah, light tastes great and it's less filling. And you don't want to get filled up when you're having as good a time as we are. Right, Jan?
For serious beer drinkers, there's only one light beer, Miller Lite.
Oh, stop it, man. You're killing me.
It's a pathway that leads from here to tomorrow, from sea to shining sea. The great American road belongs to Buick. Whoa, it's a feeling of smoothness, of power and grace. The road up ahead in command. Yeah, the great American road belongs to Buick.
Yeah, I know I need life insurance, but I hate spending money on something I hope I'll never use and won't be around to enjoy if it ever is used.
Leave it to the good hands, people.
Allstate has life insurance that pays you for living. Allstate Universal Life. It protects your family if you die, and it can provide competitive earnings for your retirement.
So, my family's set if I'm gone, and I'm in the money if I stick around. I think I'll stick around.
You're in good hands with Allstate.
A member of the Sears Financial Network.
Continued at a ballpark near you.
The preceding message was furnished by Major League Baseball.
A beautiful fall evening here in St. Louis, and just moments ago, the chairman of the board, the president, and chief executive officer of the St. Louis National Baseball Club, August A. Busch Jr., and the ceremonial first ball toss. Arriving in the stadium on his wagon drawn by the Clydesdales, Mr. Busch reaching Tony Pena on the fly. It should be noted, and here we go. Robbie Thompson, then Kevin Mitchell and Jeff Leonard against left-handed Greg Matthews, an 11-game winner who didn't figure to pitch this game, but then Danny Cox came up with a bad neck. 1 ball and no strike to Rob Thompson. As a leadoff man, Thompson strikes out a lot, over 90 times. He's a very good bunter. And later on in the series, if he comes up in a situation where there might be a squeeze, he'd be just the man to look for. 1-1. Greg Matthews with a record of 11-11. He was 0-2 against the Giants this year, 1-2 lifetime. replacing Danny Cox, who won 11. The Cardinals, the first division winner ever without a 14-game winner. 1 ball and 1 strike to Rob Thompson. Cued off the end of the bat, a one-hopper that gets away from Dreesen, and there was a lot of English on that ball because it was cued. So Rob Thompson squirts one off the end of the bat. Dreesen unable to come up with it and will draw an error. And that will bring up Kevin Mitchell.
Dreesen looked like he was going to make an easy play out of it. He just botched it. You can see why Thompson would be out in front of Greg Matthews. Matthews changes speeds a lot. His fastball really sets up the other pitch. He doesn't have the kind of a fastball that'll blow you away. He'll spot the fastball and then he'll change speeds. His biggest strength is that ability. He controls that strike zone pretty good when he's on, and it's pitch selection that'll make the difference.
Well, here's Kevin Mitchell. A lot of sock in the number 2 slot with 22 home runs. Rob Thompson taking his lead at first. Stole 16 bases during the regular year. And Matthews takes a look and then comes for a strike. On deck, Jeffrey Leonard. Going head-to-head, not that it really means anything, but during the regular year, the Giants beat the Cardinals 7 out of 12, splitting 6 games here. But they hit more home runs at Busch Stadium than they did at Candlestick. Ground ball to the hole, base hit into left field. So an error followed by a single, and the Cardinals are in trouble. I think it should be mentioned, we all learned something from history. But the team that has opened the National League Championship Series at home has lost the League Championship Series the last 4 years. In fact, the team opening at home has won only 5 of the 18 series. So you usually hear about the home field advantage, but it hasn't quite worked out that way. And now Jeff Leonard with first and second and nobody out. Leonard had a bad wrist. There were those who felt it's just as well he wasn't going to play tonight. With Danny Cox, he was not in the original lineup.
That's how Matthews has to pitch. He has to change speeds, get it out of that zone, and hope that they chase the bad ball.
And if there is an escape hatch in the Giant lineup, it might be Leonard, who has grounded into 17 double plays this year.
The bunt is not even a rumor as far as the Cardinals are concerned, and you can understand why. First inning, Leonard, a guy who can pop it into the seats.
0-1 to count at Jeff Leonard. We're just starting. High fly ball to straightaway center. It's playable. However, the runners go to tag. McGee for the catch, and moving over is Rob Thompson, and the throw offline, and both runners advance.
Vin, that's one of the things that Zimmer talked about, how different it is to coach on artificial surface than it is in natural grass. He wants his guys to tag up because there is no mediocre arm as far as he's concerned on artificial surface. Picking up that base on the fly ball means that they can score easily on the base hit. You could see Zimmer was really screaming to Thompson to tag up and come on over.
You can also make a little scouting report. The Giants sacrificed the fewest number of times of any team in the National League, so you don't really look for them to lay one down. Maldonado is a Jekyll and Hyde. He didn't do much hitting at Candlestick, but he was hitting close to 350 on the road. Strike, off speed. Matthews, with a lot of off-speed stuff, leads the Cardinal staff in strikeouts. In fact, Whitey Herzog said he always gets in trouble when he tries to rely on an 83-mile-an-hour Hummer. 0-1 to count. 0-2 as Maldonado chasing that.
One of the problems they had was that Matthews started to worry about how hard he was throwing, and it took a while for Mike Rourke to work with him, the coach. And what he has to do is change speeds, get that ball outside the zone like he did there, and make them chase it.
The infield back with only 1 out in the first inning. Ground ball to third. A full 360 by Pendleton, but he goes to first. Terry might very well have had a play at the plate, but he elected to go for the out, and the run scores.
That was a contact play as far as the Giants are concerned. The runner breaks as soon as the ball is hit. Now Pendleton turns around. He's got an idea to go to the plate, and I think he had a play there, but he wanted to make sure of the out, because if he doesn't get him at the plate, then it's a big inning. But you see him take a look, and he wants to go to the plate, and then he says, "No, I better make sure of the 1 out."
So the Giants get the jump on the Cardinals. Terry Pendleton opting for the out as the run brought in by Thompson, who tagged and moved over on the fly ball. And here now is Chili Davis. Chili Davis, a switch hitter. He has a little better numbers as a right-handed batter and more power from this side of the plate. Chili commanded a lot of respect this year. You might not realize it, but he led the Giants in getting intentional walks. He also strikes out a lot. He has struck out over 100 times. So 2 down in the first inning, and the Giants have a run. Fouled away, or first, out of play, and the count 0-2. It's 330 down the lines here at Busch, 383 up the alleys, 414 to center. That's the deepest center in the National League, and that wall is 10 feet high. Oh, and 2 the count. Giants with a run on an error, and it's been cashed in. One ball, 2 strikes.
You might take a note from our center field camera, like on that last pitch. Pena behind the plate will move to help his pitcher Matthews, but he'll move at the last second, last possible moment. He's been inside, he's been outside on Chili Davis.
I've always marveled about Tony Pena and his glove or mitt. On the corner, strike 3 call. We'll look at it later, but that's probably the smallest catcher's mitt, certainly in the major league. 1 run, 1 hit, an error, a man left at the end of a half an inning. Giants won. Here come the Cardinals.
Paul Newman's brother.
I'm Arthur Newman. I'm no heartthrob, but Dean Witter still handles my investments with tender, loving care.
You're somebody, Dean Witter.
A member of the Sears Financial Network.
The heartbeat of America. Listen to the heartbeat of America. Oh, yeah.
It's the rhythm on the road. It's the pulse on the street. City and town, a magic sound.
Feel the heartbeat of America. Chevrolet.
That's today, Chevrolet.
Okay, honey.
Can you tell who hasn't had their Kellogg's bran flakes?
Hang in there, honey.
Well, some people feel a little sluggish if they're not eating a balanced diet.
Oh, boy, am I sluggish.
Kellogg's are the only bran flakes with fiber and a full day supply of iron to help balance your diet. And that's one great way to help fight that sluggish feeling. So maybe you can tell who hasn't had their Kellogg's bran flakes
Great shot, honey.
and who has. Kellogg's bran flakes, the fiber and iron cereal.
And let's tackle Tim Daniels first to score.
There's only one camera system you can buy that lets you hold the picture in your hand while you still hold the feeling in your heart. The Polaroid Spectra system.
On Cosby, Rudy's in trouble with Mom.
It's not fair.
And Dad's caught in the middle.
Were you not paying attention?
That was a trick.
Cosby, Thursday.
The 3 major reasons we've been successful throwing out the Cardinals have been Roger Craig calling pitch outs and throws to first from the bench. Our pitchers doing a good job of keeping the runner close and giving Bob Melvin and myself a chance to throw him out, and that's the third part. We both feel we can throw the ball pretty well.
Bob Brenly, along with Bob Melvin, have helped the Giants with the best success ratio against opposing base stealers. They've thrown out almost 40%, 4 out of every 10.
Vin Russell does get rid of that ball in a hurry. They got him clocked at 1.25. Catcher, talking to Melvin, if they get it at 1.9 and a 4-second tag, you're talking about 3.5. And if you can get that ball down there in that kind of time, you're going to get most everybody, including a Vince Coleman.
Rick Russell, 13-9. He was 1-1 against St. Louis, 16-13 lifetime, and has turned in so many quality starts, 21 of 33. One thing about Coleman, as a leadoff man, he will have some difficulty getting aboard on walks because Russell averages about 1 walk a game. A drive to center, and Chili Davis right there. So that removes Coleman for a while. 1 down.
And not only that, Russell did what he does almost to every hitter, start out ahead of him. He's going to throw strikes. He works fast. He doesn't waste any time. He will throw strikes. And Brenly says every once in a while he'll throw what he calls that BP fastball. Just turns it over a little bit, not a hard one, but for a good strike.
Ozzie Smith, a much better hitter, left-handed, and has had a big year. 75 runs batted in, and if you add that to 104 runs that he scored this year, you realize what kind of a season he has had. Plus, he's just about a cinch to win his 8th consecutive Gold Glove. He has 7 straight. Fouled away.
The strategy on Russell, as far as Coleman concerned, Smith, probably her, and I'd say McGee, Pendleton, is to hit that ball from the middle over.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Time called. Interesting baseball story. Rick Russell made his debut for the Cubs against the Giants. Won his first major league victory against the Giants. His first major league shortout was against the Cardinals. In the dirt, dug out by Clark. So Ozzie is out. Uribe to Clark, 2 down.
Uribe, an outstanding year. In fact, Bob Kennedy used to be general manager of the Cubs, former major leaguer, now with the Giants, says Uribe is the most valuable player of these Giants. He said he may not be as acrobatic as Ozzie Smith, but he does it all, and he showed you right there.
He was involved, was Uribe, in the Jack Clark deal for Gary Racich, Dave LaPointe, David Green, and Uribe was in a trade under the assumed name. He was Jose Gonzalez when the trade was made, and of course he was indeed, to quote Rocky Bridges, the player to be named later. Switch hitting Tommy Herr, hitting almost 300 as a right-handed batter, and about 60 points less than that from this side of the plate. If you need a man to be picked up from third base with less than 2 outs, Herr is your man with scoring fly balls.
That he is, but if he'd have had a man on third and Russell throw him the pitch he just threw him, man, that was a great shot from center field. It's that sinker ball, the outside part of the plate. That's where Russell pitches it. You'll see ground balls, and you have to hit him in the middle to the opposite field.
1-1. Just missed, ball 2. If indeed Russell is sound tonight, it will disprove a theory that was going around the National League, because in his last 3 starts, he gave up 16 runs, and a lot of people said, oops, he's got a tender elbow. But Rick's just rolling along in high gear. Fouled away.
Roger Craig said it was location, that he was just missing, and balls were getting through there, but his stuff was fine. That was the explanation they gave.
He's put in some remarkable work as he concentrates on Tommy Herr. 2 down, 1st inning. Cardinals leading the Giants leading the Cardinals 1-0. They cashed in a Cardinal error. High fly ball into left field. Jeff Leonard is calling, and that'll be that. So the Cardinals tiptoe through the 1st inning, and at the end of 1. Giants 1, Cardinals nothing.
Winner of this year's National League Roll Age Relief Man Award, Steve Bedrosian, with a record 13 straight saves. Presenting the award, John Walsh, president of American Chickle, makers of Roll Aids.
Thanks, Mel. Roll Aids never forgets what relief means. So this year, we're proud to recognize the league's top relief man with this award. For the first time, Roll Aids spells relief, Steve Bedrosian.
Thank you, John, and thank you, Roll Aids, for this prestigious honor. I'd like to thank my teammates and my coaches for all the help they've given me this year.
Hey, where did you learn about computers?
In the Army.
You were in the Army, too?
Qualify for the GI Bill and the Army College Fund, and you can earn over $25,000 for college.
What you do in the Army?
Airborne.
You used to jump out of airplanes?
The totally new Buick Regal. There's nothing like it on the American road.
Out on the horizon, the heart of a Buick, the start of a regal new day. The great American road was made for Regal. It's a Regal reward. It's the way it should be in this Regal American land. The great American road belongs to Buick.
More owners of new imports have chosen one motor oil over any other for their engine protection. They've chosen quality Pennzoil. Today in America, Pennzoil motor oil is the #1 choice among import car owners. That means for the best engine protection, more import and American car owners are speaking out in Fluent Pennzoil. And that's pure quality in any language. Pennzoil, the standard of protection since 1889.
He's great! Let's fill it! Lite tastes great.
At Miller Lite, we'd just like to say we're sorry if we might be responsible for prolonging the football strike. Here's hoping they settle it soon.
Tastes great. Less filling. Tastes great. Less filling.
Jose Morales, one of the coaches, talking to Uribe. Morales has a pad. He charts every pitch, and then he talks to him. And what he's doing between innings is kind of interesting. He believes you watch the opposing pitcher warm up between innings. That pitcher usually throws the pitch that he has the most confidence in the most often. So he watches that and then will set up what he thinks that the pitcher will use against his players. And with his chart, he was talking to Uribe and has him all set up. Clark, I don't think he worries too much about it.
Look out for the first pitch with Will Clark, but that one was out of the strike zone. Will has 35 home runs. 10 of them is when he swings at the first pitch. So if you're keeping a little scouting report on him, be careful with the first one especially. On the corner, 1-1. Will tuned up for the league championship series, hitting a pair of home runs Sunday to get him to 35. Only the 7th player in San Francisco history to reach the 30 home run plateau. 7 of them against left-handers. Greg Matthews, who pitched 2 innings on Sunday, rushed into the breach because Danny Cox unable to pitch. Ground ball to the hole. Tommy Hurt plugs it up. A 360 to Drayson. Fine play. Tommy Hurt making a good play to take a hit away.
He simply outruns this ball, doesn't give up on it. Looks like it's going to get by because of the artificial surface. He has to make the complete turn to get some kind of a brace to get something on the throw, and he made a fine play.
Watching him make the 360 reminds us so far of the biggest decision of the night in the first inning when Pendleton did the 360 on the ground ball and opted to go to first, where it appeared from up here as if he had a play at the plate. And that's right now the difference in the game. 1-0 Giants. Two balls and no strikes to Bob Brenly.
Brenly gets ahead of you, Vin. He can give you some pop. I mean, he gives you a pretty good home run cut, 2-0 and 3-1.
And he has the count his way now. 3 balls and no strikes. We have 1 out in the second inning. Giants 1, Cardinals 0. The Giants, number 2 team in the National League in home runs, number 1 in the major leagues in turning double plays, and number 1 in getting base runners. So they have some glistening credentials. The Cardinals come right back, of course. Baseball's running his team and the best defensive team in the National League. 3-2.
There it was. He unbuttoned his shirt on that one. 3-1, and you look for a pitch and you can get a pretty good cut, which is what Brenly just had. I mean, he unloosens himself on this one. Pena down low. He gets it in a good spot, but he didn't get cheated on that swing.
3-2 to Bob Brenly. Jose Uribe on deck. Got him. Boy, he kind of turned that thing over. The bottom dropped out. Brenly turned to no doubt asked Kibler, did I swing at a strike? Down he goes. Strikeout number 2 for Greg Matthews. And now he'll go head-to-head with Uribe.
23, shortstop, Jose.
If you wonder about him turning that pitch over, our speed gun, we might need a sundial, 75 miles an hour.
Just about over the speed limit.
Big year for Uribe, hitting 291. He had a 4-hit game in the end of September. He's really come strong with the bat. He has always been a fine defensive infielder. A couple of years ago, he was the backup to Ozzie Smith, played maybe 14, 15 games, but now he's on solid ground. Oh, and 1. Off speed. On deck, a good hitting pitcher, Rick Russell. One ball and 1 strike to count to Jose Uribe. Good change. Tony Pena with that driver's glove that he wears behind the plate. It is a good inch smaller in circumference than any other glove in the league. But that's the way he likes it. He can actually bend it in half so it's very pliable. And when he reaches in there, he doesn't have to search for a shoe in the bottom of the closet. It's right there. 1-2. 2-2.
It's got that big break in it, which is the difference in the gloves nowadays, because they use them like first basemen, catch it up in the webbing. The fact that it is small is easy to handle for him, but it's that break that makes the difference.
You could probably put that inside the old knuckleball club that was on the scene for a while. And he chased that change down and away. 3 strikeouts for Greg Matthews as the Giants are gone in order. At the end of an inning and a half, 1-0 San Francisco.
Imagine a vehicle with a rare combination of talents. A driver-oriented cockpit, electronically fuel-injected power, a rear-wheel anti-lock brake system, and responsive ride and handling. Now imagine all this not in a car, but in a pickup. The big new full-size 1988 Sierra pickup from GMC Truck. But beware, once you see how much a GMC Truck offers, you'll find that one just won't be enough. GMC Truck, it's not just a truck anymore.
Here's to the winners, those who move mountains. Here's to the miracles they make us see.
Holiday Inn welcomes you, the people who know that winning at life is working hard at it and living it fully day after day.
Here's to the winners, all of us can be.
Holiday Inn salutes you. Here's to the winners. We're on your way.
Mobil 1 synthetic motor oil. No matter what you drive, or how you drive, or where you drive, or what conditions you drive under. With Mobil synthetic oil technology, there's no finer engine protection anywhere. Mobil 1, on the leading edge of mobile motor oils.
Sunday on Our House.
I made the team.
Jesse falls for David's coach.
Another date?
Will team pressure tear them apart?
You quit the team.
Sunday.
With Matthews, it's a combination of his fastball and changing speeds. Now here you see him just kind of turn that ball over. That's what the hitter sees. And it's a change of speed out of the zone. Uribe chases it, and that's his 3rd strikeout. That's when you talk about the fastball setting up the other pitches, because Matthews not going to blow you away with the fastball, but if he's got a good one and spotting it well, you can look for a particular pitch. So he changes speeds, and he can do exactly what he's been doing. He's got 3 strikeouts.
Danny Dreesen to start it off against Rick Russell. Fastball is hit right at Will Clark, and that's that for Dreesen. First ball swinging, 1 up, 1 away. For the Cardinals, you certainly don't expect any power, especially with Jack Clark sitting it out. Clark, who furnished about almost 40% of home runs for the Cardinals. Jack Clark out of the lineup, and even with him, the Cardinals were the only major league team this year to hit less than 100 home runs. So you can imagine they've really lost the nucleus of the attack with Clark out. A drive to right, Maldonado going back to flag it.
It's a tribute to Russell's control. There's no sense waiting for the base on balls. As Vin said just a moment ago, he's not going to give it to you. So jump on that first one, and Maldonado makes a good play on the ball, well hit. Now Pendleton is the next hitter. Dreesen has hit the first pitch. McGee has hit the first pitch. Pendleton knows this guy's a sinker baller. He moved up on McDowell against the Mets to hit that dramatic home run. Chances are he'll be up on the plate here, but now you have a decision to make. Do you spot him a strike or not? If I were Pendleton, if it was a good one, I'd take a hack at it.
Pendleton has more power as a left-handed hitter and a better average right-handed. One to nothing in favor of the Giants. We're in the bottom of the 2nd inning, 2 down. Pendleton followed by Kurt Ford in the lineup on the corner. Good sinker.
You don't think Russell knew? Although Pendleton was taken all the way, he did not give him a good ball on that first pitch.
Pendleton hits him fairly well in his career, hitting .330 against Russell. Terry, in his own words, and for kids watching, he's an interesting study. He said, quote, "I was the worst Little League player that ever played the game." You'd never know it looking at all the tools he brings to the ballpark.
He's up on that plate too, Vin.
Fisted foul off to the left, out of play, and it's still 1-2.
The theory of that, of course, is to get that sinker ball before it breaks, and that's why you move up like that, and then you're supposed to lay off of it because it'll be out of the strike zone if he doesn't get it up high enough for you. But boy, is that so easy to say.
Russell has a pitch, he calls it the four-seam fastball, and that's one that rises a little bit. 2 balls and 2 strikes to count. So Russell and Brentley, Clark, Thompson, Uribe, and Mitchell, Leonard, Davis, and Maldonado behind him. 2-2. Off speed and hit to Rob Thompson. So that's 6 in a row retired by Russell. It's 1-0 Giants at the end of 2, and we'll be back after these messages from your local station.
Next week, a wrestler's pinned with a murder rap.
I didn't do it.
Can Matlock unmask a ringside slayer?
Get out of there! Get out of there!
Dick Butkus sports a Matlock mystery next week.
A6, hurry and you'll make it.
Delta Airlines ticket agent Sam Singletary knows how to get people moving.
Mr. Franklin, your bag.
But sometimes he has to show off a few moves of his own. The kind of moves that made him a first-string halfback. Sam Singletary shares a feeling with everyone at Delta. He loves what he's doing, and it shows.
We love to fly,
piece of cake.
And it shows.
Thousands of people in American business who understand that if you don't make dust, you eat dust. We offer the telecommunications services of U.S. West and Mountain Bell. Nobody knows the trails better.
I want my Serta. Here's why people want their Serta. Why they're spoiled for any other mattress. Only Serta goes beyond just being firm. Beyond what others do. We top our support with the extra comfortable Serta surface. A unique difference you can feel in a Serta Perfect Sleeper.
Come into Granite Furniture for truckload savings during the Serta National Truckload Sale. Hurry, sale ends soon.
The 1987 National League Championship Series brought to you by Mr. Goodwrench. No one knows your GM car better than Mr. Goodwrench. No one. And by Kellogg's Brand Flakes, the delicious high-fiber cereal that helps keep you fit on the inside. We're on the inside of Busch Stadium in St. Louis. 1-0 Giants. Rick Russell, followed by Rob Thompson, and then it'll be Kevin Mitchell. Russell, a man who can hurt you with the bat. Off speed for a strike, 0-1. One ball and 1 strike.
He's really choked up on that bat. He just wants to make contact, put it in play.
He, as you saw, 1 home run. It was against Cincinnati's Ron Robinson. That's a strike. 1-2. The only run, if you joined us late, Rob Thompson, the leadoff man, hit a ground ball with English on it off the end of the bat, and it fooled Dan Dreesen for an error. And he eventually worked his way around to third, having tagged up on a fly ball, scored on a ground ball to Fenelon. Fly ball into shallow left. Coleman, a late start, but he picked it off anyway. 1 down. Rob Thompson was aboard on the air by Dan Dreesen. That's the difference in the game right now. Rob took second on a single by Mitchell, tagged up and went to third on Leonard's fly ball, and then came home on the ground ball, where it certainly appeared as if Pendleton had a play to get him. Good fastball. That's about as hard as he's thrown tonight, right there.
Right there is the hardest he's thrown, but it just keeps setting up that off-speed pitch. When you can change speeds like he can, that fastball looks very fast.
Interesting, Thompson has 10 home runs, but he's certainly not considered a power hitter or any threat And in his leadoff role, you look at him in relationship to where he is to home plate. He leads the Giants in being hit by pitchers. He's been hit 8 times. So he kind of hangs over that inside corner, which would seem to tell you he likes all away.
He rooms with Mike Eldreddy, and talking to him, he says, boy, I want some of the Eldreddy's thinking to rub off on me, because Eldreddy's one of those guys who visualizes that perfect swing and really has an idea up there.
1-2. Got him. That's 4 strikeouts for Greg Matthews. He's retired 8 in a row.
And Thompson was way out in front of that pitch, and you just keep talking about how the fastball sets up the other pitch, and that's why when you talk about Matthews, he needs a combination of the two. He can't just get by with one. You can't say, well, his off speed is good, and there you see it. You can see the rotation, and Thompson chases it and doesn't get it.
Boy, what he has going tonight so far is great arm speed. I mean, his arm is driving through. You have to think fastball, and then somehow he pulls that string.
Well, that's what makes the change of pace effective. If it doesn't look like a fastball, forget it. You'll be backing up third.
So 4 strikeouts in 2 2/3 innings. There's the fastball, and he comes right back with a change in the same motion. 1-1. Best changeup we've seen in the National League in the last few years belonged to Mario Soto of the Cincinnati Reds. Of course, he also had a 90-mile-an-hour fastball.
That'll help. That pitch right there is to keep Kevin Mitchell honest. He got that ball up and in. He's not afraid to come inside. Matthews really in control here.
2-1 to Mitchell. 2 out in the third. 1-0 Giants. Fouled away off the end of the bat, dribbling over to the Cardinal dugout. Pena, as you might notice, with the bases empty, is a man sitting down on the job. In fact, the only way he can get any lower is if he dug a hole and sat in the hole. But of course, he can have that luxury only with the bases empty.
It's probably the worst catching position of any major leaguer.
2-2. See if he gets all the way down again.
Well, they kind of got on him about that a little bit. He doesn't kind of spread out like he used to on a couple pitches he has. He wants to give the low target. He got that from catching De Leon. Make sure he gets the ball down.
There he goes. And Mitchell goes out after it, hits a fly ball to Coleman. 9 in a row retired by Greg Matthews, but the Giants have a run. And at the end of 2.5, 1-0 San Francisco.
Just scratch and match.
I won a camera.
You could win one of the tens of thousands of prizes from Mr. Goodwrench. Just stop in for an oil change. Or just stop in. No purchase is necessary to get the game card. And while you're there, enter the Island Paradise Vacation Sweepstakes. You could win a trip to Hawaii, Manhattan, the Bahamas, or the Virgin Islands. So see Mr. Goodwrench.
Stop in for an oil change now. Or just stop in.
Mr. Goodwrench. No one knows your GM car better. No one.
I'm State Farm Agent Jim Cornwell. When I first insured John and Susan Rager, I told them my job was just beginning. Now there's a new car in the family, a new home, and a new Rager, John Lawton. We just got together for a family insurance checkup. That's State Farm's way of helping you keep up with all your changing insurance needs. Because if you're anything like the Ragers, things can change pretty fast.
And like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Sir, would you choose hamburger A Wendy's hamburger that you can get your choice of fresh toppings on, or B, the competition's where they tell you the toppings you want?
B. I choose B because the toppings were picked by a person or persons unknown to me, relieving me of any liability with regards to the B burger. And let me add that I'm happy to assist this investigation any way I can.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Most people like hamburgers with their choice of fresh toppings, like Wendy's, the best burgers in the business.
Sunday, the NFL plays here when the Chiefs battle the Dolphins.
Before your team takes the field, our team hits the air. NFL Live.
His name is Roger Craig, but when he came to the Brooklyn Dodgers in 1955, they called him Slim, not because he's 6'4", but you had to be an old movie buff to remember a character actor named Slim Somerville. Well, that was his name. He wound up winning one of the World Series games that gave the Brooklyn Dodgers their only championship, and that was against the Yankees in 1955. He has the ups and the downs. He lost 20 games twice for the New York Mets. He had the honor of balking in the first run ever against the Mets. And then later on, he pitched in the World Series for the Cardinals and was a winner. Roger Craig. Here's Curt Ford. And he drives it to right. He didn't get enough of it, and Maldonado was right there. So one away, and Tony Pena coming up. Pena has been a big disappointment here after the trade with Pittsburgh that sent Mike LaValliere, Mike Dunn, and Andy Van Slyke to Pittsburgh. However, they found out one good reason why Pena was struggling with the bat. He was having trouble with his eyes. So Pena, late in the year, has gone to glasses. Next year, he'll try contacts.
It was Johnny Lewis, one of the coaches, who spotted it.
And he promptly bangs it to center. First Cardinal hit.
Pena says he has trouble with the glasses on foul balls, but I see now he seems like he's adjusting or taking them off. Johnny Lewis said he was missing too many pitches, and he said, I had that problem, and I said, I don't think he sees too well. So he told Dr. Stan London, Gene Gieselman, the trainer, and they checked this. The next day he had the glasses.
I'm amazed he catches without them. If he can't see them to hit, how does he see them to catch?
I don't know.
Matthews bunting. Down to get it is Russell, and the play has to go to Rob Thompson covering. So the tying run is at second base with 2 out. By the way, in pointing out Rick Russell handling that bunt, Russell won a Gold Glove in his career, so he's a good defensive pitcher.
He helps himself. Watch, he's just in perfect position either way. Comes up, makes sure he knows his place at first base, and makes it.
So Vince Coleman coming up, trying to pick up Tony Pena and get the Cardinals even. It's 1-0 Giants, bottom of the third, with 2 out. Kevin Mitchell plays about even with the bag at third. Ball 1, 1-0.
Coleman's theory to hit Russell is to try to hit up the middle or to left field. Try not to pull him. Go with him.
Ball 2. Another thing in this ball game the teams share, catchers who run pretty well. Tony Pena and Bob Brenly. It is very rare that Coleman swings at a 2-0 pitch. In fact, would you believe in the entire season he has only swung 2-0 7 times all year. Takes a strike. 2-1.
That is rare in this day and age, only because everybody seems to have the hit sign 2-0. The manager controls 2 balls and no strikes, 3-1, and he'll give you a take sign, but you're hitting every time you walk in the box.
2 balls, 1 strike. Just outside. John Kibler almost started with the right arm. So Russell, who averages 1 walk a game, is 3-1 to Vince Coleman. On deck, Ozzie Smith.
He doesn't miss by much. He and Coleman really watches. You can see John behind the plate. Kibler, that right hand move.
3-1. Ground ball up the middle. Base hit. Here comes Pena to score, and we're all even at 1.
That's what he wanted to do. And now you got the big battle. He's on first base, and the message is, you can't stop me, and the signs are up. Go, go, go. And Coleman says they're not going to dictate when I'm going to run, because as soon as I get on, I'm going to run.
The most incredible stat of the night. Do you know that no one has attempted a stolen base in Russell's 8 starts with the Giants?
You're going to see it now.
Yeah. The bluff. And a foul at the plate, and the count 0-1. Vince Coleman was saying that Russell has a tendency to lean. You really have to read him, but he doesn't want the fact that Russell is tough to run on to intimidate him.
He said that he will run. The only thing that will stop him is going to be the tarp, and he's got his tarp detector on. He's checking now with first base umpire to see if there's possibility of a balk. He wants a little edge.
109 stolen bases for Coleman. There's another thought if you're Brenly. You have a sinker ball pitcher, but with a runner on and a left-hand hitter up. What Brenly does is look at Uribe. He doesn't have to worry about Coleman. Uribe will break, as will Rob Thompson. So that's how he knows when the run is going. And another bluff and a foul ball. One man in the Giant dugout will also holler, only one. And normally it's Bill Fahey, the first base coach, when the run is going.
And he's getting help from Roger Craig. But I tell you something, Vin, with a guy like Coleman, you're not going to worry about your infielder. You're going to get that ball and throw it. If you wait to see an infielder get over to second base, it's going to be too late. And Coleman is one of those guys who his first two steps, he'll be looking at the catcher, see what he's doing.
0-2 the count. And he goes on a pitch out. The throw, they got him from me to you. So Bob Brenly stuns the Cardinals as he hangs Coleman out to dry, but the Cardinals get the tying run. And at the end of 3, a 1-1 tie. Now a look back at a very special Olympic moment.
An Olympic moment brought to you by the Prudential, offering a full range of insurance and other financial services. The Prudential.
Mexico City, 1968. America's George Foreman has been giving Enos Chapoulas of the Soviet Union a bad beating in the heavyweight final for the Olympic gold medal. Finally, the referee stops the bout. Foreman wins. Says the future heavyweight champion of the world, "I am very proud. Proud I have won. Proud to be an American."
We go above and beyond just like you. Above and beyond what we have to do. Ensuring the best in life for you.
When it comes to life insurance, nobody goes above and beyond like your Prudential representative.
You take pride in your life, so do we. Going above and beyond is our policy. The rock, the Prudential, above and beyond.
They are called Olympic hopefuls, but hope plays a small role here. For it will take a courage, a discipline, and a sheer will few of us will ever know. And if their effort is true, then they too will be known as Olympians.
Here's Coleman breaking on that last steal. And you can see head down and digging hard, but Brenly, a perfect pitch-out throw. He gets him easily, man.
The one thing Roger Craig said that he had a special talk with his pitchers, because some of them have a tendency of aiming a pitch out, and they'll throw a 60-mile-an-hour pitch out. But Rush'll cut loose. He wasn't aiming, and Brenly makes the perfect throw.
And look where he throws it. First base side of second base, and all they have to do is catch the ball and drop the...
So the first man to try and steal against Rush'll in a Giant uniform. And they get him. Vince Coleman, the premier base stealer in the league.
And there's nothing that stops running more than a pitch out that works for the other club. Roger Craig, he believes in the pitch. He says it's a great weapon because you know now that every time they get on, they have to be thinking about Roger Craig calling pitch outs.
Number 1 in the National League in a success ratio and percentage against enemy base runners. And the Giants immediately put the credential on the desk for all to see. Jeff Leonard just started off in the 4th, a 1-1 tie, and he's way out in front of it. Some of the Giants have been starting that swing sometimes this morning, and the pitch getting up to the plate tonight. So they're having to calm down a little against Greg Matthews. Leonard a fly ball in the first inning, but it was important. And another fly ball to dead center. A late start by McGee, and this one is gone. Leonard reaching the seats in center field. The Giants, the number 2 home run hitting team in the league with 205, and now put their brand on this one. And it is 2-1 San Francisco.
He couldn't pick a bigger part of the ballpark than center field to hit it out of. Looked like a fastball, and it just jumped out of here.
It's interesting that the Giants hit 16 home runs against the Cardinals and more here at an airport, Busch Stadium, than they did at Candlestick. 2-1 San Francisco, and Candy Maldonado, the batter, grounded to third in the first inning to pick up the run when Terry Pendleton opted to go to first. Right. No balls and 1 strike to Maldonado. Chili Davis on deck. Another fly ball, but that's just straightaway center to McGee. And Willie has 3 gold gloves in the closet and puts that one away. So 1 down, and Chili Davis coming up. San Francisco, a remarkable team, only the 10th team in history to come from 100 losses to win from 1985 to 1987. And they're only the 5th team to come from 100 losses to become a division champion 2 years apart. Chili Davis struck out in the first inning. Chopper to third. Pendleton stays with it. 2 down. So Greg Matthews, after retiring 9 in a row, gives up the home run to Leonard. Now with 2 out, he'll go against Will Clark. Clark was robbed of a hit on a fine play by Tommy Hurd. What a swinger. This kid is really something. Off the campus of Mississippi State. Wow, what a stroke.
And he knows that he's had to adjust, because the higher your average and the more hits you get, the less fastballs you're going to see. So they're throwing a lot of slow curveballs, and he's adjusted.
He's had a marvelous year. 29 doubles, 35 home runs, 91 RBIs. And just a couple of years ago, he was on the 1980 United States Olympic baseball team. 1 ball and no strikes to Will Clark. 2-0.
It's funny, he said before the game that I usually get jammed against left-handers because I wait longer on the pitch. Right-handers I don't. So he said he waits longer and causes him to get jammed, but it allows him to hit that ball to the opposite field pretty hard.
2-0 the count. On the corner, looking at Ozzie Smith, Cardinal shortstop, who is really filling up the middle. He is on the rim and way to his left. That's the one thing that Ozzie Smith has changed over the years. Remember, he had a rotator cuff injury, which has affected his arm considerably. And he can't go deep in the hole. The other thing that you see Ozzie do a lot, and look for that during the series, he'll make a lot of throws on the run that puts a little less strain on his arm. Boy, he's deep on Clark. 2-2. Time.
I think one of the reasons he can give up the hole, too, is that fellow playing third base, Pendleton. He knows how much range he has. If he had some foul pole down there that wouldn't move, then I think he might have to protect a little more.
2 balls, 2 strikes. And that's hit down the left field line, slicing as she goes foul. So Clark will come back and try it again. 2 balls and 2 strikes, and Vince Coleman, running for office, tosses a souvenir up into the seats.
Remember the years some ball players did that and Gabe Paul charged them?
Well, you know, really, when you think about it.
Stop them from doing that.
Especially if you're a visitor. You come in to play here, and you take a ball and throw it up in the stands, and everybody says, what a terrific guy. It's like having him come over to your house and give your silverware away. Isn't that terrific? What a wonderful human being.
Yeah, here, have a cup, have a fork, knife.
2-2 the count to Will Clark. On deck, Bob Brenly. And it's 2-1 Giants in the 4th. Tomorrow, the second game, John Tudor and Dave Dravecki. Whoa, just missed, and Matthews was leaving the scene.
You make a pitch like that, you want a 2-2 pitch, and he really nibbles at the corner. Close.
Clark will strike out twice as much as he walks. Well, it took a lot to take that one. And this time he hits it to center, and that'll be a base hit. He was jammed, too, and he was still able to flare it.
Well, that's a whole new thing that they have, that if you get jammed, it means you're keeping your front shoulder in and you're not flying open and pulling off the ball. You don't want to pull off the ball. You want to stay there, but sometimes you get jammed on that particular pitch, just as Clark did. He may have gotten jammed, but as Vince said, he just got it off. There it is. You see him kind of lean back because he was trying to get away from the inside pitch, kind of flicking it out there, which he did.
Where's Bob Brenly, who has already figured prominently by throwing out Vince Coleman. 0-1 to count. Brenly struck out in the second inning. We're talking about catchers who run, and Brenly falls into that category. He stole home against San Diego. Off speed, in there for strike 2. And Brenly grounded into only 5 double plays. Boy, it's nice to have a catcher with young legs. Huh?
Yes, sir. Young legs that work. My legs were young, but they didn't work.
Tony Pena, who runs well, scored the Cardinal run in the 3rd inning. And there's a pickoff throw. Clark Andreessen's throw to Ozzie, and Ozzie's high with the tag. Clark's feet were on the bag, and then Ozzie tagged him on the chest, and Clark is not a good base runner.
It was that one-way lead. The first move he was going to break, he broke, and they got him picked off easily. Ozzie's got the ball, but watch him tag. Look where he tagged him. He kind of just, how do you do it? And it's a good call at second base by Jim Quick. And I'll tell you, you don't see Ozzie do that. If he drops the glove, he's got him.
Sure. He kind of pulled his feet back, almost Olay, like the bullfighter.
How do you do? Like he didn't want to touch him.
But Brenly chases it and strikes out for the second time. 5 strikeouts for Greg Matthews. 1 run, 2 hits. Jeffrey Leonard hits the seats in center, and it's 2-1 Giants.
Listen to the heartbeat of America.
It's the rhythm of the road. It's the pulse on the street. Pulse on the street. City and town, magic sound.
If you want the adventure of it all, put yourself in today's Chevy S10 Blazer and listen to your heartbeat.
Ooh, the heartbeat of America. Chevrolet.
That's today's Chevy truck.
When I played football, they called me a troublemaker. But really, I'm just a nice guy who likes to watch a game with a Miller Lite. I see you're drinking light, too.
Yeah, it tastes great.
I agree. But he drinks it because it's less filling.
Tastes great.
Did you hear that?
It's less filling.
Pretty strong words.
It tastes great.
Less filling.
Tastes great.
Less filling.
Tastes great.
There's no argument. There's only one light beer, Miller Lite.
Is that a light beer you're drinking?
Yeah, it tastes great.
I agree, but that's not what he said.
These days, to have information bouncing off a satellite is not exactly front-page news. But when it's headlines and pictures, ball scores and stock prices, that is news. And it's all going from a Contel satellite to nationwide printing plants. On time, every time. If you have news to get out, Contel can help you too. For Contel, I'm Chuck Ness.
My brother Dick bought a Magnavox camcorder. Gonna shoot TV movies, right, Dick?
Sure.
Big lights, the whole thing.
Don't need lights. With this, I can shoot by candlelight.
Yeah, but he's forgetting about outdoor action and all
Hey,
that.
it's got high shutter speed for clean, fast action.
Yeah, but what about all the other things? You got to be in.
Tom, this new camcorder by Magnavox has got everything. It's fully automatic, has instant playback, weighs just 3.5 pounds, and it's so simple that even my...
Yeah, I know. Even his brother can use it.
That's right, you got it. Look over here. Come on.
Here's that play again. It looks like Ozzie Smith sees Will Clark veering in and going to take him out to play, and he just kind of backs off. And really, how do you do? I mean, that's really unusual, Ben.
And how? Now we see Ozzie. The only other thing more unusual is to see Ozzie Smith strike out. He's been the toughest hitter to strike out last year, the second toughest this year. In fact, with over 600 at-bats, he's only struck out 36 times. 1 ball, 1 strike, and a drive into right center field in the gap. Maldonado and Davis chasing it, and it's going to bounce, and it is touched by a fan or no. Evidently no, and it'll be a triple for Ozzie Smith. So Ozzie Smith drives one to right center. It took that kangaroo hop up against the wall, and the fans tried to grab it. It would then have been a ground rule double, but they couldn't reach it.
It bounces high enough, and it was close, but I don't believe he touched him. And it's a 3-base hit, and Ozzie Smith really muscled up on that one.
Talking about muscle, that's just what Ozzie brought to the dance this year. He's about 16 pounds heavier than in the past. And he triples to right center, so the tying run is 90 feet away. And the batter, Tommy Herr. What did we say earlier in the scouting report? If you want to pick up a guy from third with a fly ball, Tommy Herr is your man. Well, let's see if that holds up. He had a dozen scoring fly balls, more than anybody else in the Cardinal team, more than anybody else in the Giant team.
Infield is playing halfway except for third. Mitchell now moves back a half step.
And he hits a fly ball, and tagging is Ozzie, but it's not much of a throw for Jeff Leonard. And Ozzie is not going to come, not with no one out at the time. So that's just one out, and Hurd does not live up to his advanced billing as he leaves Ozzie at third, and the batter will be Dan Dreesen. Dreesen would like to atone for his error in the first inning that cost a run. Danny with 11 RBIs during the regular year. Of course, every time Dreesen comes up, certainly here in St. Louis, the people have to be saying, oh, if it was only Jack Clark.
Yeah, I'm sure they do.
2-1 Giants, fourth inning. Strike. 0-1.
Russell is so effortless. It looks like he's not really throwing with good stuff, but he's got a lot of movement on that ball.
One ball and one strike. So Ozzie Smith triples. Tommy Herr fly ball to shallow left. 1 ball and 1 strike. Ball 2 to Dan Dreesen. Dreesen grounded out to Will Clark in the second inning.
They'll come to the plate. It looks like first, third. Well, they're moving in now, all of them.
2-1. Slow curve, and that's popped up into shallow left. Leonard's going to have to come for it, and he's there. Nowhere for Ozzie to go. Boy, what a job of pitching by Rick Russell. So 2 down, and Willie McGee the batter, and Ozzie is still there.
The yardstick of the good pitcher has always been, what does he do with a man on third and less than 2 outs? And Russell is just showing you why he's a winner. And McGee, who jumped on the first pitch and lined hard to right, is in that batter's box.
Interesting, too, you would expect Russell, who has built a reputation of being a sinker ball pitcher, that in a jam like this you'd see ground balls to the infielders. Instead, the ball's been in the air, but not very deep.
His hitters are trying to get under that ball to get that sacrifice fly. Herr, of course, the key man in this inning.
Half swing. They're going to look at third. No swing, says Eric Gregg. Willie McGee with 105 runs batted in. Just 1 less than Jack Clark. And they're asking him to get the tying run home. Fouled away. He was late on a pretty good fastball. And the count 1-1. That fastball of Russell, pretty good. 88.
Compared to the other stuff, it looked faster.
Yeah. Ball 2. 2-1. Infield back to a normal depth, but not Kevin Mitchell. He has to play up inside the bag at third. Whitey Herzog chewing away, sweating out the tying run. And the firm of Craig and Zimmer watching. Base hit into left field. So Willie McGee, with his left wrist heavily taped with a bad left thumb, drives in the tying run.
That was a sinker ball, and he did not try to pull it. Went with the pitch and sends it into left field. That was a good piece of hitting because it's a good pitch. He doesn't try to pull it. You see him go, hit the ball down opposite field.
Now we'll see about Willie McGee. He's stolen 16 out of 20, and we'll see if they turn him loose. Big rip by Terry Pendleton, 0-1.
One of the things they talk about, Vin, unless he's different tonight, is McGee has not been running because of that bad leg. And I'm sure with the move that Russell has, not being able to get a jump, but with 2 outs, he's got to get in scoring position.
And you have a left-hand hitter up there, so the first baseman is on the bag, and the right side of the infield open. And they'll drive him back just for good measure. Pendleton has been a much better hitter all year long with men on base. Maybe 60 points higher with people on. Fouled away, 0-2.
You know, Craig not only calls pitch outs, he calls when they should throw over to first base. And Brenly, who has a good arm, as you can see by those statistics, he doesn't have the sign like when we saw Toronto just point over to first base. He actually uses fingers to indicate throw to first base.
Bob Melvin probably has a better throwing arm than Brenly, but Brenly is a better hitter.
He's checking with Craig constantly. If you're wondering who he was looking at, he was looking at Craig, who tells him to throw over there or to pitch out.
You know, when Roger was the pitching coach of Detroit, he tells about having to prove himself to a couple of the rather famous Detroit pitchers. 0-2. And Pendleton takes a bad ball. But after he called 2 pitch outs and got 2 runners, one of the top Detroit pitchers said, okay, from now on you call him. We'll be back after these messages from your local station.
Raquel Welch, as you never thought you'd see her. Her family's love gave her the strength and courage to ask for the right to die. Monday.
They're coming to a Hardee's near you. The stars of Hardee's Cinnamon and Raisin Biscuits. And now, when you buy any 2 Rise and Shine biscuits or any dessert, you can get a cool California raisin for only 79 cents. There's 4 in all, a new one each week. Get your California raisins at Hardee's. Another way we're out to win you over.
The future is here, only at Jerry Seiner GMC truck. A special allotment of 1988 Sierra trucks has arrived. The Sierra is GMC's newest full-size truck, designed for maximum comfort and performance. Select from over 50 new Sierras in stock, as low as only $149 a month. Don't miss the biggest truck sale of the future, now at Jerry Seiner GMC truck. This weekend on 7200 Southeast of I-15.
Leroy Neiman for the Sharp Color Copier.
Vivid colors have always excited me.
Now, for bright, winning colors, Sharp's advanced technology creates a full-color business copier. It copies from slides, makes transparencies, enlarges and reduces. From crisp black and white to full-color copies, you're the winner with Sharp.
Art by Neiman, color by Sharp. How do I ever get along without it?
Be sure to visit the Les Olson Company, your exclusive Sharp copier dealer for Utah.
Weekdays at 6:30.
Whitey Herzog, only the 37th manager to pilot clubs to 1,000 victories. Tommy Hurt tells you why. You do it his way if you want to remain a Cardinal. I always love Herzog's line. He said, baseball has been good to me ever since I stopped trying to play it. He wasn't a bad outfielder first baseman, however. And into the 5th, all even at 2. It'll be Jose Uribe, Rick Rushell, and then Rob Thompson. Uribe struck out in the 2nd inning. 2 runs, 4 hits for the Cardinals. 2 runs, 3 hits for the Giants.
Matthews, with that pitch, has made 58 pitches, 42 strikes, 16 balls.
And, of course, Matthews is the big story tonight. Rushed into the breach when Danny Cox was unable to pitch because of a bad neck. He worked 2 innings Sunday and now comes right back with this big spot. A drive into left center field. McGee was shading the other way, and he has to short hop it. And if he doesn't short hop it, that goes all the way to the river.
But that's what they talk about the Cardinals. They say the Cardinal outfield can turn a triple into an out and turn a walk into a triple. McGee short hops it, and I mean, he makes a sensational play, making it look pretty easy, because as you say, Vin, that thing probably would end up under that arch.
So Uribe singled. Willie making a dazzling backhand short hopper of it. Here's Rick Rushell, who flied to left, and he's around to bunt. At least he was if he had gotten a pitch. Now he has to check with Don Zimmer to see if the bunt is on.
He better make Dreesen field it.
Rushell has 7 sacrifices and tries for number 8, and he's got it. Pena to Tommy Hurt.
He really deadened that ball so nicely. Uribe moves on down there. Rushell got it on that dirt part and just trickled out there. A perfect putt. See how hard they're charging. Pendleton coming in from 3rd. And Pena says, I'll take it. And a perfect sacrifice bunt.
So Jose Uribe at 2nd base, 1 out in the 5th inning. Rob Thompson trying to pick him up. Thompson is 0 for 2. Reached on an error and scored and struck out. The Giant pitchers are set. Dravecki tomorrow, Hamaker Friday, and Kruko Saturday.
You know, just a footnote to that Danny Cox story. Whitey wanted him to start not only because he thought he was his best pitcher, but he was the one guy he could use in 3 games. He had him planned for 1, 4, and 7 if it goes that far.
1 ball and no strikes. 1-1. The other problem is that Herzog had to decide, and he opted for 8 pitchers and 16 players. Well, now he has 8 pitchers, but one of them can't pitch. He is really in trouble, and he was worrying about a blowout.
A blowout, and you know, if somebody comes up like Tudor or tender arm or something, I tell you, Whitey's done some job of managing this year.
1 ball and 1 strike to count to Rob Thompson. In there, 1-2. Rob Thompson was scouted by the son of the third base coach for the Giants, Don Zimmer. And when Don was with the Yankees, he was saying, gee, I really feel good. He said, you know, that kid playing for the Giants, my son scouted him. And now Tippy's over there in a Giant livery. Comebacker. Instead, it'll go by the mound to Ozzie. And on the play, Uribe takes third.
You can see the advantage of Willie McGee cutting that ball off. True, he backhanded, and if it gets by him and all that, but the fact is he did cut it off. And that's why we talked about, when you talk about a ball club built for a ballpark, you talk about defense, because Coleman's going to steal in the cow pasture. I mean, forget about that end of it. But when you can cut the gaps like they do, and McGee did, here is Uribe at third with 2 outs. But if that ball gets by, he's at third with 1 out.
So with that runner at third and 2 down, the batter is Kevin Mitchell, who's single to left and flied to left. 1 for 2. One thing you have to worry with Matthews, who is a finesse pitcher, but he does have 7 wild pitches in limited duty. So that puts a little extra heat on Tony Pena with a runner at third. 2-2 tie in the 5th, 2 out. Fouled away off first, out of play, back into the crowd. The crowd, of course, has been a big story here in St. Louis. They finished with over 3 million for the first time in Cardinal history. The Mets also drew 3 million, and baseball had a banner year, over 52 million. What a year. 1 ball and 1 strike to Mitchell. Yep, in the dirt. 2-1.
Pena did a good job of getting that body in front of that ball. You don't see him sitting down with a man on third base. You have to block that ball. That's your job. Now watch him shift over there.
And as we said, especially with Matthews, who has a tendency to throw him away once in a while. 2-1. And it's a hopper that eats up Ozzie, and he stays with it. Look at that parachute he threw to Dreesen. Ozzie Smith takes a base hit away from Mitchell and a run, and it's 2-2 to the bottom of the 5th.
In McDonald's, we're tossing salads fresh all day. Every day.
I mean, it's fresh when you get it, and it's fresh when I pop it in my mouth. It's like having somebody come in your own kitchen and make you a salad.
I come through the drive-thru. It's quick. It's easy.
McDonald's Chef Salad, Chicken Salad, Oriental, and Garden Salad. For a taste that's tossed fresh. It's really crisp and fresh.
My taste buds just went crazy.
Tossed fresh all day. McDonald's salads.
It's a pathway that leads from here to tomorrow, from sea to shining sea. The great American road belongs to Buick. Whoa, it's a feeling of smoothness, of power and grace. The road up ahead in command. Yeah, the great American road belongs to Buick.
Is he waiting there for me? Take me where I long to be, in his open arms.
The Eagle GT Plus 4's unique footprint has 40% more tread grooves than America's best-selling new car performance tire. So rain or snow, you'll get the performance you've been waiting for.
Take me home, Goodyear. Goodyear, take me home.
As you know, these playoffs are very important. They lead to the most exciting event of the year. The season premiere of Saturday Night Live with Steve Martin and musical guest Sting.
We were telling you Ozzie has trouble throwing flat-footed because of the rotator cuff injury. Look at this. It was like a ping pong ball in a windstorm. It just kind of floated over there, but it was in plenty of time since it was hit so hard. So Mitchell robbed of a hit, and Ozzie got the job done.
I mean, it looks like an infield fly going over there. But you know what it does point up too, Vin, is the fact that the Cardinals are not hurting when they pitch left-handers, and you put a lot of right-hand hitters in there because you have such great defense on that side in the person of Ozzie Smith and Pendleton. He made a tremendous play on that.
Well, we see now about Curt Ford leading off matters in the bottom of the fifth. A chopper to Kevin Mitchell. One down. So that'll bring up Tony Pena. Kevin Mitchell doing a solid job.
Catcher Tony Pena.
At third base ever come to San Francisco from San Diego. And he's had two different years. Last year, when Kevin was with the Mets, he had a great first half, and he hit the skids after the All-Star game. This year, reverse. So he comes in here playing solid. Tony Pena, single, scored a run in the third inning. Ball one. Two balls and no strikes. The count to Tony Pena. On deck, Greg Matthews, who's not bad with the bat. He's a little bit better hitter than Danny Cox, who should have been pitching tonight. And of course, it was Matthews' sacrifice in the third inning that set up the run. 2-2 tie. Bottom of the fifth, one away. Oh, did he have a rip and got a little of it? Tony Pena.
He's going to rest just a few minutes because that hit right on the foot. There you see it hitting right on the heel.
For big leaguers, you're always hit by the foul on the front foot. Left foot if you're right-handed, right foot if you're left-handed. Because the big leaguer's bat is so quick, they're always out in front. If you were a big leaguer and you hit on the back foot, then you'd really be late. So most of the time, it's that front foot. And Pena now is okay.
He'd have that steel toe I talk about in there, he'd be all right.
He'd need a steel toe, a steel heel,
a steel everything. Shin guards on.
2-2 the count to Tony Pena. One out in the fifth, a 2-2 tie. Game one. Sinker in the dirt. Ball three.
He's got a little trigger mechanism that he uses, Pena. You watch that right arm of his as he starts to get set. He'll kind of flick it in, much like Joe Morgan used to, except Joe did it 3 or 4 times.
Oh, Joe used to beat his ribs. There it is. And he walks. So Rick Russell, whose high in walks has been 2. Can you imagine a high in walks 2? Well, he walks a man tonight. There used to be a fellow in New York. They called him the nighttime mayor of New York, Danny Healy. And he would talk about it, and using Healy's expression, he would say Rick Russell gives up a walk as easily as he would give up a tattoo. Not a bad line.
Not a bad line.
All right, let's see if Matthews gets a bunt down now. He sacrificed in the third, and the Giants are looking bunt.
Charging hard.
Clark is really coming. Strike.
This is almost one of those spots, depending on how the pitcher can handle the ball, where you'd almost say to your pitcher, lay that ball in and we can make a play at second base. Now, you see Clark really staring in at Craig, and Craig is in control of everything from that dugout.
You know, it's funny. I was sitting in the office with Craig, and Norm Sherry came in, and Roger said, don't forget to remind the pitchers about our bunt play. And I bit my tongue because I wanted to ask him what it was, but of course it was inside stuff. There's the bunt. And the only play is to Rob Thompson. So Greg Matthews does what they say he can do. Good man with the bat. Twice he has been asked to push the runner along, and he's 2 for 2. And Pena, who runs pretty well at second base, and Matthews getting high fives.
That's one thing the Cardinals have been able to do all year, the basic things, the little things, the things that seem to get lost in the box score, but they put up the right numbers at the end.
When you realize the Cardinals 5 times in the last 6 years have been last in home runs. One year they weren't last because Pittsburgh hit fewer, but that's why they have to do so many little things to beat you. And here is Coleman, fly to center, single to drive in a run, and then was thrown out trying to steal. Strike. 0-1. Two tie. Bottom of the 5th inning, 2 out. And on deck, Ozzie Smith. Check swing, no swing, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike. Coleman, Smith, Herr, McGee, and Pendleton are all switch hitters. It's almost as if you have 13 men in the lineup. Ball 2.
It's a funny pitch. It looked like an overhand curveball that he threw there and got it way inside, like he was almost giving him a ball to set it up for this one.
2 balls, 1 strike. Missed. Ball 3.
Russell wanted that one.
Well, when you look at Coleman's numbers and you realize he has struck out 126 times, Roger Craig watching to see whether they will give Coleman the green light. 3-1 against a control pitcher. And ball 4. Boy, that is really news for Rick Russell to walk 2 in 1 inning. And Ozzie Smith coming up, grounded to short and tripled. A 2-2 tie. Bottom of the 5th inning, 2 out, with Pena at second and Coleman at first. Ground foul outside of first and down the line.
He really spun on that one like he had made up his mind that he was going to pull that ball through that gap. He really spun on that one because against a sinker ball, they were talking about trying to hit it up the middle of the opposite field, although he did triple into right center field. He hit the first time at bat, he hit right to the shortstop, but this one he really spun on it, opened up quickly.
No balls and 1 strike, Ozzie. Foul back, 0-2. Ozzie, in 10 league championship series games, is hitting .471. You want to talk about a guy really producing in the spotlight.
Well, they call him the club's most valuable player, and you can see why, because it not only with the bat and the glove, in the clubhouse he is something special.
0-2, the count to Ozzie Smith. Pena at second, Coleman at first. 0-1. There's that pitch again. That's that same wobbler that he throws up there. 1-2. Ground ball to the right side. Rob Thompson is there over to Will Clark, and the Cardinals lead 2. And at the end of 5, it remains Giants 2, Cardinals 2.
I like Wheaties because they're just like running backs, crispy when you crunch them.
I like Wheaties because they're just like linemen. They got no sweetness packed in.
Now go tell your mama what the big boys eat.
I am master of ancient art of karate, kung fu, and the Chinese chuckle. But what about the socializing? I always reach for a cold Miller Lite. Light tastes great. Light less filling too. Hey, anybody want the pepperoni?
Ain't ancient proverb, only one light beer, Miller Lite.
Of all the furnaces you can buy, only one has Pulse technology, the Lennox Pulse gas furnace. How good is a Pulse? So good, it's backed by a lifetime limited warranty. In fact, it's so reliable, Lennox is making this warranty retroactive to every Pulse ever sold.
Take it from Dave Lennox. For a lifetime of comfort and savings, get a Pulse gas furnace. You'll find it only at your independent Lennox dealer. He's in the yellow pages.
Attaboy, Dave.
Today's small cars are tougher than ever on oil. Their high-compression engines not only rev high, they can run hotter than regular small car engines. Their searing heat can begin to break down an oil immediately. That's why there's Castrol, the only leading motor oil that in every grade provides maximum protection against viscosity and thermal breakdown. So use Castrol before your engine does something to get you heated up. Castrol, engineered for today's smaller cars.
Now when you buy a long-lasting Peerless faucet, you won't just get a 15-year warranty. You'll get a free NFL cap with your team's name and colors. We hope the strike won't last as long as our warranty. But who ever heard of a 15-year strike anyway?
The baseball player today, when he goes up to bat, he's got to get prepared, much like a doctor for surgery. There's Jeff Leonard putting some of that stickum on. Wide receivers use that in football. Now his hands are sticky, so he puts on gloves. And here he is earlier, and it seemed to work for him because now he not only hits it, he points to it and says, there it goes, and I know it's going. And it took him about maybe 2-3 minutes to get around there. He walked from halfway between third and home, which makes a lot of pitchers very happy.
If you haven't been watching much television this year and you see Jeff Leonard, you look at his number, and maybe it's a surprise. It's certainly not a surprise to anybody in San Francisco, or for that matter in the National League. 0-0. The idea was Jeffrey Vellied had so many different injuries that he was starting brand new this spring, and he decided, I'm going to start from scratch. So you're looking at scratch. 0-0. 2-0 the count of Jeff, but wouldn't you know, he hurt himself anyway. He's got a sore wrist.
And he's got the batting gloves on, and he's got the running gloves in his pocket. And don't ask me about running gloves, except that they say, well, they're not as expensive as the batting gloves, and that's why I wear them.
2 balls and no strikes. The count to Jeff Leonard. Strike. Saturday, when the Cardinals celebrated the 3 millionth fan here, a lot of the Cardinals came out late in the game and threw batting gloves and batting wristbands up into the stands for souvenirs. You know they're not expensive. Ball 3.
Well, not to them anyhow, because everything they get from the manufacturers is given to them. I mean, I've never seen so many shoes. One fella got 60 pair.
3-1 to count to Leonard. Fly deep to center and then hit one in the seats in dead center. And pops it up on the right side. Tommy Herr angling out. Kurt Ford coming in. Ford has the easier play. 1 out in the 6th inning. So Leonard a fly ball, followed by Candy Maldonado. Maldonado grounded to third and flied to center. Candy is 0 for 2.
This is one of Jose Morales' projects, Maldonado, and what he watches is his back foot. He doesn't want him to get too far back and close his stance. He wants him to go directly at the pitcher. And that's a key thing for him. You see him digging in. He's got the feel just right.
You know, Maldonado in June was hitting .360 when he suffered a broken ring finger going after a ball in the right field corner at Candlestick. When he came back off the DL, look what he hit. .685. He was last year's MVP on the Giants. 0-2.
Matthews really doing a good job in and out, changing speeds.
He's allowed 2 runs, 1 of the 2 unearned on an error. 1-2 the count to Maldonado. Candy followed by Chili Davis. Fouled off.
Morales feels that he's a better hitter when he's hitting straight away, because then if the ball is inside, he thinks he's strong enough to react and able to pull it. But if he tries to pull it, then opening up too soon, and he just comes off the ball and really doesn't drive it.
Ground foul outside of third. A 2-2 tie. Top of the 6th inning, 1 out. Talking about Morales. Morales and Maldonado were teammates with the Dodgers, so they know each other very well.
Very well, and Candy has great admiration for him from those days.
1-2. And fisted in the air back to second base. Her going out. McGee coming, but it will be her. 2 down in the 6th inning. Candy followed by Chili. That doesn't sound too good, but for the Giants it has paid off. And here's Chili. Struck out and grounded out. 0 for 2.
Boy, I think that's a great lesson for young pitchers. You don't have to have that 100-mile-an-hour fastball or that Nolan Ryan type to get that good hitter, because here's Matthews moving that ball around, but he had Maldonado reaching, and then he jammed him with the fastball inside.
2 out, top of the 6th. 2-2 tie. Off speed for a strike. Matthews with 5 strikeouts has not walked anybody. And picks up the outside corner in the count. 0-2.
And the difference in that, the statistics on Davis, 0-2 when he puts it in play, hits .034. But when he's ahead of the count, he's a .364 hitter.
Well, we'll see what he does now behind, and I mean behind. 0-2. Breaking ball. 1-2. Chili Davis, Los Angeles boy, going against Greg Matthews, who's a Southern Californian from Anaheim. And he chased the change, and Greg Matthews strikes out a half a dozen. The Giants are gone in order, and at the end of 5 1/2, a 2-2 tie.
Tastes great. Last filling. Tastes great.
At Miller Lite, we'd just like to say we're sorry if we might be responsible for prolonging the football strike. Here's hoping they settle it soon.
Tastes great. Last filling. Tastes great. Last filling.
This evening, Ken Edwards had a vision of the future. Not of time travel or cities in space, but of his family. His daughter practicing law. His wife heading her own business. Himself retired, writing detective stories. This evening, Ken Edwards had a vision of the future and knew what it would take to get him there. Daddy! Plans for investments and protection from the equitable. We have great plans for you.
Introducing Toyota Corolla for 1988. Dramatic new looks that'll literally stun you. Performance that'll surprise you. And value that is legendary. For 1988, it's a whole new dimension for Corolla. Toyota quality. Who could ask for anything more? Toyota!
If you're looking for racy lines, precise cornering, and a great stereo, Zenith's trim 27-inch designer TVs will put you in the driver's seat. Zenith, quality.
Well, the story right now would have to be the remarkable performance by Greg Matthews being rushed into the breach following the inability of Danny Cox to pitch.
I tell you, walking in the clubhouse, I said to Whitey, you're going to have 9 guys, and Red said, well, he'll come up with something, and he has.
Danny Cox should call Walt Terrell of Detroit. Terrell missed a big start because of his stiff neck and then came back and won.
So, I tell you, when Matthews does this, it just shows you got a roster, use your guys. He has been the big story.
Big story, but it hasn't been fully written. Let's find out about more. Two, bottom of the 6th inning. Tommy Herr, Dan Dreesen, and Willie McGee, and that's a strike. Tommy Herr twice hit fly balls to left field. However, the frustrating one for him was in the 4th inning when he came up with Ozzie Smith at third and nobody out and couldn't get him home. High drive into deep right field. Back goes Maldonado on the track at the wall. Got it. Tommy Herr, a long out to right field. Tommy had only 2 home runs in the regular year, and both of them hitting right-handed. And it's head-shaking time for Herr.
It looked like it had a chance. It was a fastball. He really turns on it, and he thought for a minute he had it, and so did a lot of people.
Maldonado almost running out of room right there. So 1 away. Dan Dreesen with the count, 1 ball and no strikes. That picked up the edge. 1 ball, 1 strike. Danny Dreesen at the beginning of the year certainly didn't figure to be here. He was without a ball club. Then he signed a contract with St. Louis June 9th. Played 58 games at Louisville. He was promoted to the Cardinals on August 31st, 1 day before the deadline to qualify for postseason play. Fouled out of play. At the time when they brought him up, they thought he was a luxury, albeit an experienced one. He had played for the Expos and the Giants. And Dreesen, when Clark went down, was anything but a luxury. If you study the history books, you'll find out that Dan Dreesen was the first designated hitter for a National League team in a World Series. He hit better than .350 for the Reds when they swept the Yankees in '76. So he'd been around. And there's Jack Clark, understandably frustrated, annoyed, short-tempered, disgusted. Fate has dealt him another bad card. No pun intended. Every year, Clark, if it's not torn muscles in the rib cage, and it was the bad thumb. Now it's this year tearing the ankle, the tissue around the ankle.
And if there's one team he wants to play against and one park he wants to go back to, it would be the Giants and Candlestick.
And Whitey Herzog kind of shakes his head, rubs his chin, and says he might be ready for Game 6. Lined and slicing into left center. It hits the rug and goes to the wall. And Dreesen will be into second base with a double.
It appears that Russell may be starting to show some chinks. He walked 2 in the 5th inning. Herr hit the ball hard, and now the line drive. So we're liable to get some activity going.
Watch Jack Clark. They also serve who only stand and wait and cheerlead. And watch the double up the alley. So with 1 out, Willie McGee, whose single got Ozzie Smith home in the 4th inning to tie it up. Now trying to get the Cardinals out in front for the first time tonight. A sinker hit into the hole. Uribe goes back to Thompson, who can't handle a low throw, and everybody's safe. But he saved the run on a ball headed for the hole to left field.
And he had Dreesen picked off. Dreesen thought the ball was through there. He did save the run. Now he loses a little bit of balance here. Dreesen is way up the line. Thompson can't handle the short throw, and it was a tough play for him. So the Cardinals have something going.
It is a base hit for Willie McGee. And a fine effort by Jose Uribe, although they let Dreesen get away on that off-balance throw to Rob Thompson. The 1st and 3rd, 1 out in the 6th, the 2-2 tie, and Terry Pendleton, who was grounded out and struck out, coming up, and the Giant bullpen will move around. Ball 1. Two, 1 out. The infield back in double play depth, although the corners are up. Will Clark and Kevin Mitchell. Pendleton is grounded out and struck out. Willie McGee standing at first, Dreesen at 3rd, and after Pendleton comes Kurt Ford. And that's hit in the air down the left field line. Leonard coming. The ball's going to land for a base hit. Dreesen will score on a bloop single to left. 3-2 St. Louis.
It looked like Pena made up his mind. He wasn't going to pull that ball, hit to the double play. He went with him, and he bloops it into left field.
Down in the Giant bullpen, amidst the hysteria here at Busch Stadium and calmly loosening up, the right-hander is Kelly Downs, and the left-hander, Craig Lefferts. So the Giants led 1-0 and the Cardinals tied. The Giants led 2-1 in the Cardinals tie, and now the Cardinals lead 3-2. The big play, the stopper by Uribe, but the inability to get Dreesen, who was hung out to dry otherwise. Russell off the rubber.
And you got a guy in the batter's box who can do a lot of things, and he can really run, so the double play is going to be a tough thing for them to turn over here.
Kurt Ford, a left-hand hitter. That's the only surprise, that he's not a switch hitter. It would appear to be right out of the cookie cutter, like so many other Cardinals, but he is left-handed all the way. 1 ball, no strikes. Whitey Herzog has a lead to chew on, 3-2. And Roger Craig scowling a little bit. It is game 1. Long way to go. In fact, that's the big difference nowadays. There's not that feeling of urgency in the first game. It's like the World Series. You know, it takes 4. Lined into right field. Charging is Maldonado. Base hit. Stopping at third is McGee, and the bases are loaded with 1 out.
Ford tomahawked that ball, and McGee looked like he was going to stop at third all the way. He did not break as soon as the ball was hit. A bit of a surprise. Watch McGee. Now he sees the ball hit. He stops. The indecision right there cost him. And now he just stops there. He never did look at his coach. He made the decision himself all along.
I'm sure he felt that Maldonado, at least where he stood, Maldonado might have had a play. Nick Leva, the third base coach, trying to shepherd McGee. And you can see he gave him one little gesture, come on, but McGee wasn't watching Leva.
He's waving him
now, Leva says, come on. By this time, it's too late because McGee's not looking at him.
He didn't look at him hardly at all. And if you're going to do that, you're going to have to make better decisions than what was just made.
4 consecutive hits, starting with Dreesen's double, the infield single by McGee, a bloop single to left by Pendleton, and a fly ball single to right by Ford.
That's not typical to get that many hits and not score a run.
Now here is Tony Pena with the bases loaded, 1 out. Pena has had 8 RBIs out of bases loaded spots this year. He's been very tough, and he wanted to get them all home with that swing. Rick Russell has not been hit that hard, but he's up to his hips in trouble.
Nick Leva walked down and said, settle down, because Pena really chased a bad ball. It was way out in the strike zone.
Leva whispering to Willie McGee as he comes down the line from third. 3 runs, 8 hits for the Cardinals, 2 runs, 4 hits for the Giants. In the dirt, nice save by Brentley. 1-1. Russell in a jam is also due to bat 4th when the Giants hit in the 7th inning. McGee, Pendleton, and Ford. Got 3 rabbits out there. High pop foul off third. Kevin Mitchell is over there and makes the play. So Russell, a wily veteran, trying to get out of a tough spot, and gets Pena to foul out. Now the batter is the pitcher, Greg Matthews. So that was a very big out to get Pena.
That's the key, because he can really go after Matthews right now. Of course, he can't let up. Anytime you got somebody with a bat in their hand, they're going to be dangerous. But the key guy is Pena.
Matthews had 13 hits during the regular year, including 3 RBIs, and we do know he can bunt, but of course there are 2 outs. He sacrificed twice tonight. Fouled away, 0-1.
interesting thing that's happened with pitchers, and Don Robinson, of all people, brought it up when he goes up to hit, and he named Bobby Welch as another one who does it. They'll go up there looking for the breaking ball, knowing that most guys say, well, the pitcher can't hit the breaking ball, and they look for it.
0-1. Of course, let's face it, Don Robinson is a very good hitting pitcher. So is Bob Welch. So they would go up looking breaking ball because that's what they're going to get once in a while.
Yeah, but I mean, the fact that they're thinking that way, and they're not taking anything for granted.
Right.
And that's why they are good hitters.
1-1. And that's fouled away. Don Robinson predicting that he would hit a home run against Lance McCullers before he went up, and said to Roger Craig, he's going to hang me a slider. And he went up and hit it out.
Well, right now, Matthews has not gotten a breaking ball from Russell yet. He's got 2 strikes on him.
It's 3-2 Cardinals, bottom of the 6th inning. And there's a little looper into center, and it was a breaking ball. And 2 runs will score. And it was a hanging breaking ball. You could have put your hat on it.
It's the one breaking ball he gave him, and it burned him.
Cardinal bench. It is 5-2 St. Louis here in the 6th inning. Let's take a look at that little breaking ball and the flare to center.
He just put it in play. He reached out, didn't try to jam it or drive it. Wanted to put it in play, and he did.
A maddening inning for the Giants. After all, an infield single by McGee, a bloop single by Pentland, a bloop single by Ford, and a bloop single by Matthews. The only ball really hit was Greason's double. Sinker, 0-1.
And you've had 2 base running mistakes. Dreesen was hung out to dry, and he couldn't get him. Willie McGee should have scored on a base hit. He didn't, and yet it's all erased.
5-2 Cardinals in the 6th. And Vince Coleman, the 8th man to come to the plate. Coleman is fly to center, single to center, and walk. Fouled away. Boy, you talk about a stone on a lake. That thing really skipped. So holding at first is Greg Matthews. Kurt Ford at second. The Cardinals with a 3-run 6th have taken a 5-2 lead. The Cardinals were tied with the New York Mets with the best home record in the National League. Fouled away. During the regular year, the Cardinals won 49 and lost 32 here. The Giants are only 2 games above 500 on AstroTurf during the regular year.
Speaking of home records, tomorrow we'll watch that Minnesota game. You talk about a team tough in their home ballpark when they play the Tigers.
0-2 the count. Minnesota won 56 games at home and lost 25. Dome, sweet dome. 1-2 the count of Vince Coleman. Coleman flied to center and singled. Whitey Herzog might have been slightly disappointed when Coleman was thrown out in the 3rd, but now he's seen his Cardinals are up to take a 5-2 lead. Now back just did get a piece of it. When the Giants bat in the 7th, as they try to come back, they'll have Will Clark, Bob Brenly, Jose Uribe, and then Roger Craig knows that Russell is due up 4th, and down by 3, he might very well hit for him. Giants have 3 right-hand hitters on the bench: Melvin, Spire, and Williams. Sinker hit down to Rob Thompson, and that's that. But that 3 runs on 5 hits, and there's the man of the moment, Greg Matthews, who knocked in a couple. We'll be back after these messages from your local station.
Raquel Welch is a woman with undying courage. Family Ties Michael Gross is her husband with undying love. Emmy winner Bonnie Bartlett co-stars in Right to Die Monday.
Take a look at the next Will Shriner Show. You know her as the alluring Suzanne Sugarbaker on the hit series Designing Women. We'll meet the beautiful actress who plays her, Delta Burke. Then the man whose first words as a toddler were, "Where's the buffet?" Crusader Richard Simmons will be here with diet tips, plus Jay Johnson ventriloquism, all this and more. So we got an author, we got a ventriloquist, and a dummy, all on the next Will Shriner show. I hope I'm not the dummy.
Come home to Will Shriner tomorrow at 4 on KUTV2 together.
High-performance luxury sedans traditionally ask you to pay a pretty dear price. Well, that's not the Mazda way. Mazda's all-new 929 has world-class luxury. It's amazingly quiet, solid riding, and actually outperforms those guys. Now there's about $8 grand less between you and a car this good.
It's all part of our intense commitment to your total satisfaction. That's the Mazda way.
Get a great Mazda deal in Provo, Murray, Salt Lake City, Bountiful, Ogden, and Logan.
FHP. FHP, I like the cost, but can I choose my own doctor?
Yes, at FHP you can choose from a wide scope of qualified and caring FHP physicians. Yes, you do have a choice.
Yes, but can I see the same doctor every time?
Of course. When you call to make your appointment, just ask to see your doctor.
FHP, you're looking better and better.
You can count on us to care.
Ask your employer today about FHP.
I will. We will.
The 1987 National League Championship Series is brought to you by your Toyota dealer. An all-new Dimension 88 Corolla. Who could ask for anything more? And by Pennzoil Motor Oil, the standard of protection since 1889. Five to 2 Cardinals, a much relieved Willie McGee, I would think.
I would think he's relieved, and I also think his coach, Nick Lavia, there he shows a reaction. The coach, that's all he can do is sit there. He said, man, what can I do? I'm waving. I mean, my arm's about to come off. I may suffer a rotator cuff injury, and he's not even looking at me. And, of course, who do you tell that to?
There are times when the base runner doesn't look at the coach when the play's in front of him.
Right.
But when it is behind you, that's what the coach is out there for. And the Cardinals got away with it.
Twice, Dreesen was hung up, and then McGee, but it's all erased now.
Will Clark trying to lead the Giants back now against Greg Matthews, and that's a strike. Clark robbed of a hit on a fine play by Tom Herr, singled and stole a base in the 4th inning. 5-2 St. Louis, 7th inning. Big slow curveball on the corner. Strike 2.
Boy, he's moving it in and out, changing speeds. He knows exactly what he wants to do.
The Giants beat Matthews twice this year. He was 0-2 against them. By the mound, down to Ozzie. One away. Down in the Cardinal bullpen. The ace in the bullpen, Todd Worrell, beginning to loosen up.
And there's the difference. If Worrell leaves his fastball back at the hotel, he's in deep trouble. Because he's a real power pitcher.
Here's Bob Brenly. Struck out twice, 0 for 2. You could see him heave that big sigh. Well, you know it's a little more than just a regular game. Ball 1.
It's been a slow curveball. He started him out on a curveball, but didn't get it in the strike zone. But Brenly has just not been able to figure him out.
Matthews with a half a dozen strikeouts. Ball 2, 2-0. Fly ball into very shallow center. Tommy Herr out and calling. So Brenly a pop fly. So that's 8 in a row. Retired by Matthews, who had a string of 9, gave up a home run and was allowed just 2 singles since. Matthews, by the way, has made 32 starts during the regular year and completed only 2. And one of those 2 was a shutout. So you can bet they're counting pitches and watching him very, very carefully. Uribe, the hitter with 2 out, and Chris Spire is on deck. Remember, the Giants have 3 right-hand hitters available: Bob Melvin, Chris Spire, and Matt Williams. Left-hander Craig Lefferts throwing alone in the pen now for San Francisco. Off the end of the bat. 0-1. Uribe has struck out and singled. He's 1 for 2. Jose made a good play to backhand McGee's base hit, but then his off-balance throw gave the Giants a big break. 0-2.
Not only is he changing speeds, but he keeps nibbling at that outside corner, and he's making these Giant hitters widen their zone. He's really not hitting the corner. That was off the plate, but not so far that you would take it. And Uribe chasing it, finds himself at the count of strike 2.
No balls and 2 strikes. Time. 5 runs, 9 hits, and an error for the Cardinals. 2 runs, 4 hits, and an error for the Giants. Chase that one. 7 strikeouts. Matthews has retired 9 in a row, and at the end of 6.5 innings, 5-2 St. Louis.
Just east of the Canadian Rockies is a place where people will go faster and fly farther than ever before. The place is Calgary, home of the 1988 Winter Olympics, where a lifetime of work will be measured in seconds. But if you go, bring your camera and your Visa card, because the Olympics don't take place all the time, and this time the Olympics don't take American Express. Visa, it's everywhere you want to be.
The beautiful colors of a color tile room. Now Color Tile introduces new color-coordinated designer wall coverings at introductory savings of 30 to 50% off. Discover books and books of beautiful designs and, yes, in-stock rolls. You'll love the clean contemporary looks, the classic designs, from high-tech to country casual. The beautiful colors of Color Tile's new designer wall coverings, now 30 to 50% off. Come to Color Tile and bring the beauty home. Sale ends Sunday.
It took 2,000 years, but a revolutionary discovery is changing the way men think about coloring their gray hair. It's called Just for Men, from the leader in men's hair coloring. Simply apply Just for Men, and in 5 minutes, shampoo out. Your gray is blended away, leaving your natural-looking color. 5 minutes. Here, look at me. Just for Men leaves your hair looking healthy and fuller, and it won't fade or wash out. Just for Men, in the men's hair care section.
They'll cut me right off at the bottom line. Maybe I better not show it to them.
No doubt in my mind. It's a case we can win.
There's one airline that knows its business so well, it actually lets you keep your mind on yours.
It's a 3-part strategy.
United. Rededicated to giving you the service you deserve.
Our guys fly in tonight. Theirs tomorrow. We all fly on Thursday.
Come fly the friendly skies.
I got this covered or what?
Shine on me, Moon. Boy, we got a dandy looking down on this ball game. In the bottom of the 7th inning, with the Cardinals leading the Giants 5-2, Craig Lefferts comes out of the Giant bullpen to pitch to Ozzie Smith. He will turn all the switch hitters around now. They'll be hitting right-handed. Lefferts, who was born in Munich, West Germany, appeared in the 1984 LCS and the World Series for San Diego against Detroit, and he was brilliant. Working on Ozzie, who has grounded to short, tripled to right center, and grounded out. Ozzie also saved a big run back in the 5th inning with Uribe at 3rd and 2 out. Kevin Mitchell really killed the ball, and Ozzie stayed with it to get the last out, preventing Uribe from scoring. 2-1. Little foul off to the right, out of play.
And then kind of a footnote to that, it was McGee who cut that ball off that Uribe hit. Instead of an extra base hit, it was a single.
Right.
And then that was the 3rd out. They were not able to score. I say in most ballparks and most outfielders, that ball gets by.
2-2 the count, Ozzie Smith. Lefferts' role with the Giants basically the left-handed setup man for Scott Gereltz, and then Don Robinson.
You just saw what happens a lot with catchers. Brenly thought that was the strike. He walked back and said something to Kibler. Kibler walked in front of the plate and answered him. Nobody knew it except if you'd ever been in that spot.
Look out here, 3-2 to Ozzie. Ball 4. He's the best Cardinal hitter on the team with the count 3-2. He hits over 400 in that spot. And this year, when the count goes to 3-2, that's the 25th walk that he's got. So Russell gave up 5 runs and 9 hits. Walked a couple and goes out losing. It's up to Lefferts now to keep the Cardinals quiet. When the Giants come up in the 8th inning, Lefferts' spot is due to lead off, then Thompson and Mitchell. And you saw earlier, Chris Spire was out to be a pinch hitter.
And you got 2 guys up that can do something.
Chopper off the glove of Lefferts, deflected to Thompson, over to Uribe, back to Clark, double play. Boy, you can see why they lead the major leagues in double plays. They just turned in a dandy. 1-4-6-3.
Uribe had something on that ball when he got it. It was deflected by Lefferts. You watch it now. Usually, when that happens, the timing is kind of messed up. But look at here, perfect, and Uribe very close to being off that bag. I can see it again.
Dan Dreesen is the batter, and it was Dreesen who ignited the Cardinals in the 6th inning when he doubled up the alley in left center and scored the first of the 3 runs to put the Cardinals out in front. One ball and no strikes to count. Two 2-0.
Here's that double play again. Let's see if Uribe is on the bag. Whoops. He was in the neighborhood, but I tell you, if you call that, the umpire might as well turn around and wait for the bench. They'll be after him.
There's one hit down the right field line. Going over to get it is Maldonado, and Danny Dreesen into second base with his second double.
Then I get the feeling Dreesen doesn't like those bus rides in the minor leagues.
Is that something? What a story. A man without a ball club.
He just pulls it and pulls it hard. He had a tremendous game, the clincher against the Montreal Expos, and he comes here and comes up with his second double. And as you said, Vin, he got it started in the 6th.
So Danny Dreesen with 2 out doubles, and Willie McGee will be the batter. McGee flied to center, single to left to drive in a run, and then had the infield single on the ball that was flagged by Uribe, and it looked like they had Dreesen, and they let him get away on the off-balance throw in the dirt to Rob Thompson. Willie way out in front. Since Lefferts figures to come out for a hitter, you look to the Giant bullpen, and Scott Gereltz is loosening up.
Here's where I think that wrist bothers McGee, batting right-handed. It's the left wrist, and he kind of felt for that one.
In watching him swing now, you start to file that away, because if he's in there, it'll be against Dave Dravecki tomorrow, and he also has a bad thumb to go along with the wrapped left wrist.
He lets go of the bat on that last swing, so you know it's hurting him.
0-2. One ball, 2 strikes. During the regular year, McGee is so consistent. 284 left-handed, 288 right-handed. 11 home runs, 5 left, 6 right. But he's not quite that solid right now with that bad left wrist. 1-2. Fouled away off to the right, out of play, so it's still 1-2. In the inning, Smith walked. Kerr hit one up the middle, and the Giants turned it into a double play, and Dreesen has doubled. McGee trying to pick him up with Terry Pendleton on deck. Roger Craig knows coming to the 8th, he'll start with a hitter for Lefferts. And McGee drives One-hands it on the run. Fine play by Chile to take an extra base hit away from McGee, so they lead Dreesen. And at the end of 7, 5-2 St. Louis.
It's real. I know it's real. No other reason for the way I feel. Oh yeah. It's as real as it gets. It feels good. So right. No doubt about it. This is what I like right now. Oh, it's as real as it gets. The only thing I got on my mind says hang on to the real good time. Oh yeah, it's real.
The best things are the real things. And draft beer is the real beer. Cold filtered Miller Genuine Draft.
Oh yeah, oh it's as real as it
Warm moments on a cold winter night. Good conversation, easy and light. Now how about something for your appetite? Let our gentle flame cook up something right. Warm moments, for those warm moments. Nothing warms you like gas.
Warm is what natural gas is all about. Clean, efficient, in fact, America's best energy value. Shouldn't it be in your home?
Nothing warms you like gas.
Crime Story. Tuesday.
We go to the 8th inning, 5-2 St. Louis. Chris Spire hitting for Craig Lefferts. And just a gentle reminder, tomorrow a big day. The National League Championship Series at 3 o'clock Eastern Time. John Tudor and Dave Drevecki. Game 2 between the Giants and the Cardinals. And then tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern on NBC, the Minnesota Twins and the Detroit Tigers. And it'll all begin with Major League Baseball, an inside look. Chris Spire, who received the Willie McCovey Award for the most inspirational player on the Giants this year, has come full circle. Foul ball. Spire was with the last Giant pennant-winning team in 1971. A 3-time All-Star. 37 years old.
Vin Matthews has made 94 pitches with those two, 67 strikes and 27 balls.
He has been remarkable. So Spire, Thompson, and Mitchell in that order in the 8th. 5-2 St. Louis. It was interesting for Spire. He had hit 1 grand slam in his previous 16 years in the majors. This year he hit 2 slams 5 days apart, one of them against the Cardinals. And then a couple of weeks later he had a 2-home-run game for the 2nd time in his career. Been a big year for Chris, and he has had some invaluable pinch hits. Popped it up on the right side, and it'll be Dan Dreesen. So Spire pops up, 1 down in the 8th, and what a story Greg Matthews is. Matthews, who didn't figure to pitch. Danny Cox with the stiff neck. Matthews rushed in as a replacement, and here he is in the 8th inning, not only leading 5-2, he sacrificed to set up 1 run and singled to drive in 2 others. Ball 1.
And one of the intangibles, he has not used that bullpen. I mean, up and down, and Whitey making a decision to go with 8 pitchers. He really has gotten a bonus plus.
2 balls and no strikes. Rob Thompson, just trying to get aboard, reached on an error in the 1st inning and scored, struck out and grounded out since, and on that last pitch, suddenly here comes Mike Rourke.
I almost have to believe that what they're saying, I don't start to get cute. Just do what you've been doing because it's been working.
That last pitch, kind of like a balloon, and the string broke. And boy, Rourke was catapulting out of the Cardinal dugout to make sure that everything was all right.
It's not unusual for a pitcher not to be just satisfied to get you out. He wants you to look bad while he's getting you out, and he'll throw some exotic pitch.
You know, he's done that too. A lot of his strikeouts, the hitters look foolish.
So don't change it. What do they say? If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
98 pitches with 1 out in the 8th inning. He was the 10th round selection in the '84 free agent draft. Greg Inman Matthews from Harbor City, California, 25 years old. Strike. Went to high school at Savannah High in Anaheim, went to Santa Ana Junior College, Cal State Fullerton, and what a story he is this evening. Ball 4. And that would be his first walk. Now, if that's a storm signal, yep, it is. Whitey Herzog is carrying a hook with him. 1 walk and you're gone.
Well, he went much longer than Whitey had a right to expect and thought he would do, and it goes back. You can't catch a walk, and listen to this ovation as he walks off.
Greg Matthews, who only had 2 complete games this year, one of them a shutout, got his club into the 8th, a magnificent performance, and he has reason to grin, and out he goes. So Greg Matthews goes out leading 5-2. Worrell is in, and we'll be back.
If you were stranded on an island, what kind of car would you want? On this island, you'd want the legendary reliability of Toyota Camry. You'd want responsive 16-valve power and front-wheel drive to ease your way through savage traffic in very civilized room and comfort. And of course, you'd want Camry style, just to impress the natives. Toyota quality. Who could ask for anything more?
Are you paying too much? Are your rates too high? Leave it to the good hands, people. Does your insurance bill make you want to cry?
If you're not happy with your insurance bill, join the more than 6 million families who enjoy solid Allstate homeowners protection at sensible Allstate rates.
So shake those blues and save some dough. Give us a call, cause our rates are low. Leave it to the good hands, people. You're in good hands with Allstate.
A member of the Sears Financial Network.
The fans' favorite pastime.
We want to keep it a good time for everybody.
At baseball stadiums across the U.S. and Canada, there's a new team spirit.
We want you to have fun at the game.
We want you safe on the road, because we want you back.
Everybody's pitching in to keep drinking from spoiling a good time.
Responsibility, that's the spirit.
So when you make your run for home, we know you'll be safe. Get the team spirit. Team techniques for effective alcohol management.
The preceding message was furnished by Major League Baseball.
That's not dejection. He has plenty to smile about as Greg Matthews gives the ball to Todd Worrell. Matthews had a reputation of being a flake, kind of a guy who'd send his laundry out on a road trip and then move on home, park his car in the parking lot here, and then ask a teammate to give him a lift home. But boy, he can be as flaky as he wants pitching like that.
When you pitch like that, you're not flaky, you're eccentric.
Yes.
Yes. And what a contrast with Worrell coming in, who is strictly a power pitcher, fastball in the 90s, as opposed to what they've been looking at with Matthews.
Worrell with 33 saves, going head-to-head with Kevin Mitchell, who is 1 for 3. 1-2. Mitchell battling Todd Worrell. The difference, Worrell has made 2 pitches to Mitchell. One was 97 and the other is 96.
And I think with the wind to Matthews back, 87 was the highest.
Off the bag at first, Rob Thompson. High fly ball to right field. Kurt Ford is there. 2 down in the 8th inning. And the batter will be Jeffrey Leonard. With a right-hander on the mound, if Roger Craig decides to go to his bench, he has such left-hand hitters as Mike Aldretti, Harry Spillman, and Eddie Milner. But if he comes up with a left-hand hitter, all he has to do is look down in the bullpen, and Ken Daly is down there to try and check Craig's maneuvering. Against Philadelphia recently, when Ken Daly was pitching in relief, Worrell went into right field. Daly got his man, and then they brought Worrell back in, and he finished off the game. And Herzog, in a bind for pitching, could very well do something like that tonight. That's what Daly said. He said, "You know how I'm going?" He said, "I was relieved by the right fielder." Of course, the right fielder was Todd Worrell. 2-0 the count at Jeffrey Leonard. Flied to center, homered to center, flied to right. Foul back. 2-1.
He's just rearing back and throwing.
First 2 years in the big leagues, Todd Worrell 30+ saves in each year. He's the only Cardinal pitcher to ever record back-to-back 30-save seasons. When you realize he got 1 save in the first 29 games of the year and winds up with 33, he really came with a rush. Thompson at first, 2 down in the 8th, 5-2 St. Louis. Fouled away. John Tudor and Dave Drabecki tomorrow at 3 o'clock Eastern time. But after that, it's questionable as to just who will pitch Friday at Candlestick. Can Danny Cox come back? It will be Atlee Hammaker for San Francisco.
Whitey's looking at Friday for Danny Cox, the earliest.
2-2. And he rolled it into right field. You talk about fighting off a good pitch. And Rob Thompson goes to third.
The tip-off on that was that Pena called fastball, and Worrell shook him off only because it was the location. He stayed with the fastball, got it inside, made a good pitch, and Leonard just swung late, hit it on the handle, and with Thompson staying on first base, there was a big gap there. I mean, he just fought that thing off, fisted it in the right field.
So now Candy Maldonado coming up, representing the tying run. And Candy, with 20 home runs and 85 RBIs during the regular year, is 0 for 3 tonight. Grounded to third, fly to center, and popped up.
It'll be strength against strength here.
2 out in the 8th inning, 5-2 St. Louis. At third base, Robbie Thompson and Jeff Leonard over at first. After Maldonado, Chili Davis. Now back. 0-1. There's Chili Davis waiting on deck. Don Robinson gets up and begins to loosen up in the Giant bullpen. Ken Daly has stopped throwing in the Cardinal pen. Throw to first, not in time.
It's always a good play. It cuts down the lead. You may get a chance to get him at third, but it also makes your ball club look good. It's not a set play. It's just a play that if he gets it and sees Dreesen's ready, he'll fire it.
And Greg Matthews, of course, knowing that one swing here and all of his good work could go down the drain. A drive into left center field, racing over is Coleman and McGee, and this one is up the alley, bouncing, and the fan catches it, which takes away a run. Jeff Leonard will be sent back to third on a ground rule double, and that's a tough break indeed for San Francisco. Leonard scores without a play, except the ball kangarooed up above that 10-foot high wall.
It's one of those rules that really penalizes the wrong people now, but the fan, when it bounces, grabs it, and I think he throws it back on the field, man.
It seems as if they have somewhat of a wire basket around the wall to try and prevent fans from interfering with the ball. It came very close to being touched on a triple by Ozzie Smith in the 4th inning, and now it becomes a monumental play. Watch the fan out there and watch the ball bounce now up, and they reach out and definitely touched it, even though the basket is there.
Oh, he was disgusted. Look at that. He threw it back. He did throw it back. He was really disgusted. But I bet the Giants are more disgusted with him.
Second and third. Here's Chili Davis. It's 5-3 instead of 5-4. In other words, the tying run would be at second base with 2 out. But now you have Leonard at third and Maldonado at second. Cardinals 5, Giants 3 in the 8th. Chili Davis 0 for 3, struck out twice and grounded out. Those 3 at-bats, he was batting right-handed against left-handed Greg Matthews. 1-1. On deck, Will Clark. So a big at-bat for Chili Davis. Nice save by Pena. That could have gone to the backstop. So Leonard can't find a way to get home yet.
Easily gone to the backstop because Pena was actually set up on the outside part of the plate. And when you're going to miss, you better miss outside where your catcher is. Now look where he's set up. And I mean, he gets it way inside. That is really bad pitching. Good play by Pena.
So Pena saves a run. The fan saved a run. And the Cardinals are still leading 5-3, and Matthews is hoping somebody will save him. He's not responsible for a loss, but a win could go out the window. Fouled away. The deuce is wild to Chili Davis. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out, 2 on, 1 in, and 2 runs separating the Cardinals and the Giants. And that was a 97-mile-an-hour hummer.
I was going to say, they've been 97, 96, 97, 96.6 or whatever. They all look the same after a while, Ben. You see what Matthews did, but Worrell is just rearing back and pumping.
Ball 3. So Worrell now is 1 pitch away from loading him up for Will Clark. And Matthews can just sit alongside Jack Clark and do what Jack has been doing. Wait. And that's ball 4 to load him up. That's enough to make Worrell eat his glove, and it's enough to break Greg Matthews' heart. He thought maybe, no. The inning's a long way from being over. Well, Ken Daly is throwing in the bullpen. Will Clark is going to be the hitter. So he's taking out his ace right-hander for his ace left-hander. With the bases loaded, 2 out in the 8th, 5-3 St. Louis.
Really, Norton, you'd think you'd never had ice cream before. Oops.
There's only one camera system you can buy that lets you hold the picture in your hand while you still hold the feeling in your heart. The Polaroid Spectra system.
It's real. I know it's real.
There was a time when there was only one kind of beer. Rich, smooth draft beer. It wasn't pasteurized or tampered with. It was just real beer. Miller Genuine Draft is as real as that. It's not heat pasteurized like most other beers. It's cold filtered, so it's as rich and smooth as only real draft beer can be. Miller Genuine Draft.
It's as real as it gets.
3 out of 4 Indy drivers prepare their engines with a special high-performance oil treatment. It's named STP.
STP is the racer's edge.
Give the Army Signal Corps 30 minutes, and they can turn a mountaintop into a satellite communication station.
Roger, Bravo 2-6, loud and clear. We got him! Right.
Find your future in the Army.
And if you're Greg Matthews, there is just so much of this you can take. So Matthews still goes out where he can win. But now Ken Daly picks up for Todd Worrell, who could lose. And in this battle with the game on the line between Daly, he of the bionic arm, he had the same operation that Tommy John had. Daly will go against Will Clark. And Will Clark, the Giant first baseman, hit .320 against left-hand pitching this year. So, I mean, we're in the high-rent district now. Will Clark, Ken Daly, and the game on the line.
They're playing him pretty much straight away, although he's got a big gap in left center field. And if he holds to what he said he would do against left-handers, he'd try from the middle to the left field line.
Clark is 1 for 3. 0-1. Clark was robbed of a hit by her, single grounded out. And Daly starts him with a rising fastball that was clocked at 92. Leonard at third, Maldonado at second, Davis at first, 2 out. A run taken away from the Giants as a fan went after a ball in play. 1-1. So instead of 5-4 St. Louis, it is 5-3, and Whitey's leading a charmed life, at least for the moment. And Rogers wondering when his luck's going to turn. Bob Forsch begins to throw in the Cardinal bullpen. Ball 2, and you can hear the groans. Oh, you talk about pressure.
Yeah, and I tell you, it begins and ends really with the plate umpire, John Kipper. He has to umpire that ball, but he knows how important this game is. And he's getting a little heat from the bench right now.
Somebody's touched a nerve, and the mask is off. Nick Leyva is hollering, standing alongside Whitey Herzog, and John doesn't like it one bit.
Tell you, they're right on the brink. Get a little louder, and somebody's going to get launched.
2-1 to count to Will Clark. The bases loaded, 2 out in the 8th, 1 run in, 5-3 St. Louis. And there's a high fly ball to right center. It's playable. Kurt Ford is there. He's got it. So the Giants are victimized in the 8th inning and wind up with 1. And at the end of 7.5, Cardinals 5, Giants 3.
It's real. I know it's real. No other reason for the way I feel. Oh yeah, it's as real as it
Joey, how you doing? How's everything?
feels good. So right, yeah, yeah.
The best things are the real things, and draft beer is the real beer. Cold filtered Miller Genuine Draft.
It's as real as it gets.
With its 24-valve 2.7-liter V6 and advanced anti-lock brakes, this is the performance sedan that's making European automakers uncomfortable. But with such amenities as a leather-trimmed interior and sophisticated stereo system, there's no reason you should feel that way. The Legend sedan, precision-crafted performance from Acura.
Make red. Be red. Make blue. Be blue. Make colors as bright as life. Make colors feel like colors feel.
The brilliant colors of life. Trust RCA to bring them to you on Precision Performance Big Screen TV. Only from RCA. The most trusted name in electronics.
Here's to the winners, those who move mountains. Here's to the miracles they make us see.
Holiday Inn welcomes you, the people who know that winning at life is working hard at it and living it fully day after day.
Here's to the winners, all of us can be.
Holiday Inn salutes you. Here's to the winners. We're on your way.
A record crowd, 55,331, the largest crowd to see any kind of event at Busch Stadium. And amongst the 55,000, this fan has had a great deal to do with the game. By interfering with that ball, it deprived the Giants of a run and has kept it a 2-run game instead of a 1-run game. There's one of the fellas who reached over and interfered with the ball in play. Right. You work all year with your pitchers and your infielders and your outfielders, and you try to cover everything, and then a fan sticks his finger in the pie. 1 ball, now 2. 2-1.
I never really could understand that rule, though, because it's the home park, and it punishes the visiting team.
Yeah, and how? Ball 3. They have a basket out there, a wire netting that runs the length of the top of the wall in left center to center to try and prevent a fan from leaning over and catching a ball. But as we have seen tonight, it did not prevent the fan from getting right out on with his hands over the netting. So 5-3 Cardinals, bottom of the 8th. Pendleton, Ford, and Pena, and Scott Garrelts, the 3rd Giant pitcher. Russell, Lefferts, and now Garrelts. Got him. Pendleton caught looking. It's the 2nd time he's gone down on strikes. The Cardinals, needless to say, do not see eye to eye with John Kibler's judgment. But the dugout would appear to be quiet for the moment. Boy, they were growling at him while Daly was pitching with the bases loaded. Kurt Ford flied to right, grounded to 3rd, single. It was his single to right field that confused Willie McGee and irritated Nick Leyva. Bad hop, and Clark stays with it and flips to Garrelts. You talk about big league reflexes. Wow.
Boy, I remember Frank Crosetti, the great Yankee coach, always saying, hey, anybody can field a good hop. Show me the guy who come up with the bad hop. You're going to see it right here. He saves a 2-base hit. Look at there. What reflexes.
And boy, that thing was ripped. So 2 down in the 8th inning. By the way, if you're not keeping score and you wonder about the Giants, Bob Brenly, Jose Uribe, and Garrelts spot. And since you have left-hander Daly on the mound, that would seem to neutralize Spillman, Milner, and Aldretti, and mean that Melvin and the rookie Williams are the right-hand hitters available. Now back. Pena has singled and scored, walked and fouled out. He fouled out in a tough spot in the 6th inning with the bases loaded, only to get off the hook when Matthews came up and hit the little breaking ball into center field for a base hit and a couple of RBIs. 0-2. Might have gone after a bad ball. He put a little angry on that swing. Down he goes, and at the end of 8, the Cardinals 5, the Giants 3.
The shredded wheat nutrition in Kellogg's Mini Wheats helps me win the race. But the kid in me thinks the tasty side takes first place.
The data shows the shredded wheat is very good for me. But the kid in me finds the frosted side a delicious discovery.
Kellogg's Frosted Mini Wheats. Shredded wheat nutrition you want as a grown-up. Delicious frosting the kid in you just won't give up.
The nutrition in Kellogg's Mini Wheats deserves a spotlight. But the kid in me thinks the delicious frosting is really out of sight.
When you're in the market for an imported luxury sedan, you're in among cars costing serious, very serious money. And just when there seems no end, Mitsubishi introduces the new Galant Sigma. with a wealth of features, including 3-liter V6 power and ABS anti-lock braking, all for well under $20,000. The new Galant Sigma, a serious luxury sedan, at a price that's not too serious. Mitsubishi, suddenly the obvious choice.
We go above and beyond just like you, above and beyond what we have to do, caring for what's special to you.
Only your Prudential representative goes above and beyond with a Pru review of your auto insurance.
We go above and beyond like you do, taking care to protect what's important to you. Go up, the Prudential, above and beyond.
Patrick O'Neill is the Bel Air killer, and Dale Robertson knows it.
I want Starbucks. Stop.
The Showdown.
Starbucks got your zip code.
J.J. Starbuck next Tuesday.
This telecast, presented by authority of Major League Baseball, may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form without the express written consent of Major League Baseball. Danny Cox, who was supposed to pitch tonight and couldn't, and gave way to Greg Matthews, who's been the big story of the night. The question now is whether Cox will be available to pitch for the Cardinals Friday night at Candlestick. We do know John Tudor goes tomorrow against Dave Dravecky. And we also know that Ken Daly will open up the 9th inning against Bob Brenly and Jose Uribe. And he's backed up in the Cardinal bullpen by right-hander Bob Forsch and left-hander Ricky Horton. 5-3 St. Louis in the 9th. Been a tough night for Brenly. It started out promising when he threw out Vince Coleman trying to steal, but with the bat, Brenly has struck out twice and flied out. Strike.
He's been behind the pitcher all night long. The pitchers have been getting ahead of him and making Brenly hit their pitch.
No balls, 1 strike. High foul off to the right and out of play on the count 0-2. Full day tomorrow, remember. The National League at 3 p.m. Eastern. And Minnesota and Detroit in the American League tomorrow night. That would be 8 p.m. Eastern. 0-2 the count to Bob Brenly. Got him for the 3rd time tonight. So Bob Brenly is caught looking 1 away in the 9th inning. And that look tells it all. As slowly but surely we run out, we would like to thank a lot of folks. Executive producer of NBC Sports, Michael Weissman. The coordinating producer and director of tonight's game, Harry Coyle. Bob Brenly doesn't feel like thanking anybody. The producer of tonight's game, John J. Filippelli. The pregame producers, Steve Dance, and the pregame director, Richard Klein. And a reminder to stay tuned for local news at the conclusion of the ball game, and that's up the middle. So Uribe keeps the door open with a single to center, and Bob Melvin will come up and bat. They've already used Spire, so now Melvin.
You can see how important that interference call is now. Not interference, but that ground rule double with the fan. 5-3 ball game. Tell you a difference if it's a 1-runner.
Oh, it's a killer. And of course, to take a point off the scoreboard is always bad news in any sport. Leonard walks in on the double by Maldonado, but is sent back and never scores. So it's 5-3 Cardinals in the 9th, 1 out. And here is Melvin. Strike. Melvin 1 for 8 as a pinch hitter, but hitting less than 200 for the year. And on deck, the leadoff man, Rob Thompson. 1 ball, 1 strike.
They really don't expect, as we look at Roger Craig, Melvin to pull Daly. McGee is really in right center field. There's a big gap in left center field. That tells you what they think of Daly's stuff.
Ground ball hard to short. Ozzie Smith to Tommy Hurd to Dreesen, dug it out. St. Louis Cardinals, who appeared so downcast over the loss of their starting pitcher, over the loss of Jack Clark. And the Giants, who had to come in here feeling confident, and it is the Cardinals, 5 runs, 10 hits, and 1 error. And the Giants, 3 runs, 7 hits, and 1 error. And somewhere in left center field, there is a fan who had a great deal to do with the outcome of the ball game. Tonight's NBC Miller Lite Player of the Game has to be pitcher Greg Matthews. Miller Lite happy to present a check for $1,000 in the name of Greg Matthews to the National Multiple Sclerosis Society. And what a lift he gave the Cardinals.
Yes, he did. And give Whitey Herzog some credit. As Red Shandine said, he'll come up with something, and he certainly did.
And by Rockets' red glare, the Cardinals beat the Giants 5-3, and we'll be back to Busch Stadium in St. Louis after this.
Most bottled beers have to take the heat of pasteurization. And this can change the real taste. But there's one kind of beer that's not heat pasteurized, draft beer. And now there's real draft beer in bottles, Miller Genuine Draft. It's not heat pasteurized, it's cold filtered, so it retains all of its rich, smooth, real taste. Miller Genuine Draft.
It's as real as it gets.
There are facts about quality Pennzoil motor oil you should know. Fact. Pennzoil is the #1 choice of import car owners in America. Fact. Pennzoil is also the #1 choice among small engine car owners, import and American. For a longer lasting car engine, using the right quality motor oil is the smartest thing you can do. And that's why more import and American small engine car owners use Pennzoil. Pennzoil, the standard of protection since 1889.
The St. Louis Cardinals win Game 1 of the National League Championship Series. Greg Matthews the winner, Rick Russell the loser. The game-winning RBI given to Terry Pendleton, and a save given to left-hander Ken Daly. As the Giants led a couple of times, each time the Cardinals came back to tie, and then the 3 runs in the 6th inning broke it open and gave the Cardinals the win. The 1987 National League Championship Series has been brought to you by Miller Genuine Draft, cold-filtered draft beer. It's as real as it gets. By Mitsubishi. See the new Gallon Sigma at your Mitsubishi motor dealer. By the Prudential, going above and beyond to meet your needs in insurance and other financial services. And by STP, makers of STP oil treatment. We've got what it takes to perform. Tomorrow at 3 p.m., John Tudor and Dave Dravecki. And for Matt Williams and Mike Aldretti, it hurts even when you don't play. And for Rick Russell, a loss. For the Cardinals, a rebirth. And for Roger Craig, a chance to get even with Dave Dravecki and John Tudor. Stay tuned for local news, followed by The Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson and Late Night with David Letterman. For Joe Garagiola, this is Vin Scully saying so long from Busch Stadium in St. Louis, where the Cardinals won 5-3.
A promotional fee has been paid to NBC by United Airlines. You're not just flying, you're flying the friendly skies.
This has been a presentation of NBC Sports. Proud to be the network of the 1988 Summer Olympic Games.
Experienced, comprehensive, insightful, innovative, informative, dependable, responsive, fast, accurate, fair, clear. Tom Brokaw and the NBC Nightly News.
Hi, I'm Tammy Sanders. Join us for Hollywood stars, local celebrities, and thousands of free samples at the PM Magazine Smith's Fall Food Festival starting November 4th at the Salt Palace. See you then.
Enter a world of lucky ladies and dramatic dancers on the next Entertainment Tonight. First, find out if Sally Field will ever surrender to Michael Caine.
I'm not gonna tell. Do we give away all our secrets here?
Then see how James Woods got his first big break as our special series Breakout continues. Plus, you'll get an exclusive preview of the latest movie moves of Mikhail Baryshnikov in Dancers on the next Entertainment Tonight.
Right after Johnny Carson on KUTV2 Together.
When you
can't be there, KUTV Sports brings it all home. Saturday, the University of Utah Utes meet the Colorado State Rams on CSU's home turf. Both teams put the ball in the air, so this should be a battle in the skies. Join KUTV's Bill Howard and color commentator Irv Brown for the kind of coverage only KUTV Sports can provide. It's live football action Saturday morning beginning at noon, only on KUTV Sports.
Imagine stories you won't see on the news. Monday, it's Speed Queens and movie star melodies.
So all in all, it's a good gig.
Tuesday, Patty Duke relives her past. Then, come home to luxury on Wednesday as PM takes you inside the flamboyant home of Liberace. And Friday, filmmakers are saying, move over, Hollywood, here comes Canada. See it for real on PM next week.
Mark Eubank on KUTV News.
We now join the following program in progress.
Everywhere I go to colleges, people always have a college rationale. That's a story that someone tells all their friends hundreds of times about why they went to this school. And it's boring to everyone but them. Luckily, only they have to listen to it hundreds of times. You know, it's usually, well, the library is, of course, one of the best. Well, it's a small school, of course, and well, of course, Northwestern was considered the best for the Air Force Academy kids. Well, Mr. Klein, you know, you get a good engineering degree for nothing. You only have to be in the Air Force 16 years. You're way ahead, you know. They were nice kids, you know. Like, there was one touching thing there with one of the kids, the Air Force, with two of them. I was having a conversation with them. They wear the same thing, see, which is a kind of, it eliminates one decision-making process. In the morning when you go to, should I wear my blue polo? Well, that choice you make every day. Should I wear my blue shirt or my gray? You know, they go, gray, that's it, goodbye. And it saves them a few minutes of sleep. You know, they get to class sooner. But from the stage, it's a mind blower. 3,500 of them out there, a three-tiered theater, looked like a moving Brillo pad. They were a good audience. Very together. It was easy to time the show. They do everything together. Prepare to laugh. Whoop. Ready, laugh. Ho, ho. Here for the next joke. Shut up, punchline, laugh. Small chuckle. Aww. They were very kind. After the show, that Mr. Klein, we think you're fine. Mr. Klein, see this hazing there, which they grabbed this freshman, and his only crime was he was there at the time. You know, what's your name, idiot? I'm fourth classman J. Gerard, sir, 462. I can't hear you, moron. Where'd you get those pimples? I don't know where I got the pimples, sir. I have to look at this, and it's not going to make him a better officer, is it? 15 years from now, he's not going to thank him. I'm glad they made an ass out of me back in That's one of the finest things I've ever done, you know. Everybody has it. I went to Alfred University in New York State. It's always, thank you, you don't have to be polite. It's always good for 3 claps in Bryn Mawr and Haverford, Pennsylvania. Listen, if I say Bryn Mawr, Haverford, you know, I know it's like St. Paul and Minneapolis. It's like St. Paul. This show is absolutely live here now. I certainly hope Mayor Lindsay makes it for another term. I hope the Phillies... No, I mean, well, mistakes we're leaving in, Jim. This is au naturel. This is real. This is, you know. Yeah, it's a stream. I don't know what he said, but whatever it is. We don't know. There's a couple of people lateral. There's a John Wilkes Booth position up there. I'm crazy! You know, I have these dreams once in a while. They have these. Alfred University. Why did I go there? Not because of, well, one good reason. Lovejoy's College Guide said at the time that Alfred would accept you if you were in the top 82% of your class. But I went there for the kinkiest of all reasons, the brochure. It was a beautiful brochure with healthy-looking people walking on the campus with books. You know what I mean? an active life is, you know, always like that. They're always looking to the future and forward in brochures. Students are always, you know, throwing snowballs in front of the fraternity house, you know, studying, tests. It's always, you know, they never show other pictures a little more down to earth in a brochure. You'll never see, for example, I'm gonna flunk out of this damn place. I lost $200 in a card game. I'm pregnant. You know, they show a lot of this. You know. I wanted to be a doctor. A few things. Everyone I went to school, what are you applauding for doctors? Everyone I went to school, I graduated in '62. Everybody I went to school with is a doctor now. Every place I play, you know, I get this business card thrust in front of my nose. Dr. William Zachary, surgeon. I go, hey, Bozo, how are you? Well, I'm a surgeon now. Come on in, Bozo. You still throw up a lot? Bring them right down to earth. William Zachary. You know, they're probably great doctors, but I wouldn't go to any of them on a bet. Because I don't care what's gone down in 13 years. I remember them as I always will. Come on, let's get laid again. I'm going to throw up again. You know, it's really... I don't care what they are now, you know. I'll never learn to handle this mic cable. I wish I was like those singers. You know, they always know how to do it. I never went to that singer's mic school. You know, I hear music when I look at you. Yeah. You know what he says. Hey. Hey, Philadelphia, I love you, baby. They use the wire. Button up your overcoat. They call the wind around. Enchanted by you. To that school. When I was working out at the Improvisation in New York, learning my craft, I used to see those singers, and many of them had no mic technique. And, you know, it was sort of an odd thing to them. And when you hit a very loud note, you automatically, if you watch Sarah Vaughan, you go, ah, it's intimate, it comes back, you know. And they would get it mixed up, you know, ah, you. Or a lot of them have a lot of false vibrato. They shake their voice because they got bad habits from some singer they emulate. You know, like, I love you. And the audience starts to vibrate sympathetically until they reach a common frequency and it sounds straight to them, relatively. I like singers with bad diction, except when they sing. I like to do a song for you now from the Broadway musical Carousel. Maestro. When you're alone, and the melody sings to you, hand up. That's a gesture they often use. And you know that it sings to you, hand down. You look to the sky, then look down. You can often tell when a novice singer is bombing when they ask you to clap along. But it's kind of a defensive thing, like, hey, I'm bombing! Bomb with me, everybody! It's more out of that spirit than that you absolutely have to get right into it. Like, for example, he started to clap. Now we're going to hear this all the time. Everyone, we won't know if a clap is a real one or it's like... Sorry, I realized I've lost control of the show. Oh, God of humor!
Take a look at the next Will Shriner Show.
You know her as the alluring Suzanne Sugarbaker on the hit series Designing Women. We'll meet the beautiful actress who plays her, Delta Burke. And then the man whose first words as a toddler were, "Where's the buffet?" Crusader Richard Simmons will be here with diet tips, plus Jay Johnson ventriloquism, all this and more. So we got an author, we got a ventriloquist, and a dummy, all on the next Will Shriner Show. I hope I'm not the dummy.
Come home to Will Shriner tomorrow at 4 on KUTV2 together.
Enter a world of lucky ladies and dramatic dancers on the next Entertainment Tonight. First, find out if Sally Field will ever surrender to Michael Caine.
I'm not going to tell. Do we give away all our secrets here?
Then see how James Woods got his first big break as our special series Breakout continues. Plus, you'll get an exclusive preview of the latest movie moves of Mikhail Baryshnikov in Dancers on the next Entertainment Tonight.
Right after Johnny Carson on KUTV2 together.
They asked us to tell you about our new maid. Well, Mickey's a little bit like Kelly LeBrock.
Grace Kelly.
Gracie Allen.
Nancy Allen.
Nancy Drew.
Drew Barrymore.
Lionel Barrymore.
Lionel Richie.
Renee Richards.
Richard Rogers.
Roger Smith.
Smith Brothers.
Lady Smith Mombazo.
Lady Jane.
Lady Jane.
You Tarzan.
Yul Gibbons.
Mel Gibson.
Mel Blanc.
Mel Brooks.
Brooke Shields.
Brooke Atkinson.
Brooks Brothers.
The brothers Karamazov.
Come home to We Got It Made, Saturday afternoons at 4 on KUTV2 together.
It was bound to happen, and it did. As you know, Jim and Tammy Baker came out with a record giving their side of the PTL scandal. Now they've got a music video. You'll get to see part of it tonight at 10. Good evening, I'm Randall Carlisle. Also tonight, you get the latest on today's primary elections. You watch Robert Bork's defeat and the possibility that Orrin Hatch will replace him. You'll get details of a $2.5 million cocaine bust. And with the baseball season nearing a climax, you'll have a good time watching Plays of the Week. We'll have those stories and more only on KUTV News at 10.
The best course I ever took was abnormal psychology. I love that course. No more theoretical shit. There they are in front of you, sick people. Oh, 500-page textbook, 600 pictures, all beauties. I read it the first night. We spent hours, and we got off on it, but we learned, too. Look at the freak on page 238. The Zambuli brothers of Austria, born, joined at the fingertips and toe tips, sometimes called the gingerbread brothers, but... Alfred, when I first went in, they made fun of the way I spoke. You think I talk funny? One thing about me, I have self-confidence. That's my fantasy of how I feel on the inside. I went there when I was 16, and it's way 400 miles from New York City. I was an urban kid, and I can tell you the truth. Don't applaud for everything. Don't applaud for everything. Save it for something. It's frostbite. It's a chilly night tonight. Nice night. I went away to a very rural place, and I must say now, with perspective, being 33 years old, I can say it was really quite valuable, because to live 4 years of your life in a place totally unlike where you usually live, it was a bit of a shock getting off the train. Are these the dormitories? The first thing I did was make fun of New York talk, you know. But there were regionalisms everywhere. They spoke funny to me, but I knew, hey, Bab. They were from near Buffalo. Hey, Bab, my father gave me $1 to get married. We're getting married next week, then we're going to Buffalo, we're going to Niagara Falls, we're coming back. We're coming back. And there's always a kid that came up to me, hey, Bab, you from New York? I go, yeah. He said, do you know a guy named Tony Jones? 14 trillion. Now, I usually knew the guy, but there's no excuse for an asshole question like that. There was something that was quite, kind of put me off a little in my first, time there. And for a while thereafter, I'd never really faced blatant anti-Semitism before. It was really quite something. And my first day there, something sort of spoken from a fraternity house porch to me. Subtle to be sure, you know. Jew-boy! Jew-boy! Hooker nose! Hey, Jew-boy! I didn't quite know what. I remember that I wanted to meet the guy next door to me in the dormitory. He was decorating his room with a swastika-mobile. I remember a brief phone call home to my parents. I can't tell you exactly what the conversation was. I don't remember. I can paraphrase. And they get me the out of here. Mama! like in the movies, just watching it. It was really funny. The gutsiest thing I ever did there was play Shylock in The Merchant of Venice. See, I became interested in the plays after a while, and I had to play an old man. Shylock is like not a pussycat, but modern history has made him a very sympathetic character. He suffers because of great prejudice, and I guess Shakespeare was too hip a judge and perceiver of human personality to let that moment go. I think in the fourth act he has this wonderful speech. He talks about, aren't Jews and Christians, don't we respond to the same stimuli? If you prick us, don't we bleed? You know, that kind of thing. Fabulous. And I made myself into an old man, you know. And put on a little phony palsy shake, you know. Get old in a hurry, you know. And I put in my script exactly where I wanted the palsy shake to be, as a good palsy shake. I'll put another palsy shake. Hath not a Jew hands? Hath not a Jew eyes? Hath not a Jew organs, senses, dimensions, affections, passions? Palsy shake. Fed with the same food, hurt with the same weapons, warmed and cooled by the same winter and summer as a Christian is. And the audience went, no, you son of a Jew boy, Jew boy, Jew boy.
Not that switch, now way to go. Now we're on the air.
Well, what do we say?
You better make it important.
Shop Acura, Utah, 4595 South State.
Great folks, great cars.
I wonder what this does.
I don't know.
Wait! The mastic fiddler desires refreshment. Mom! Can I have some Sunny Delight?
Sure, Billy.
Can Bear have some too?
Yes. Nothing else delights you like Sunny Delight.
The Arctic Explorer's supplies dwindle. He opens his last can of Sunny Delight frozen concentrate.
Billy! Don't forget to shut the freezer. Nothing else delights you like Sunny Delight.
What does the smell of bounce remind me of? Spring. Here at the lake when everything is new. And every morning I come out and I ride my bike around the lake. And that's how bounce smells. It's just natural. It just smells so fresh. Here. Smell it.
Outdoor fresh bounce. Jump in!
Smells great, doesn't it?
Jump in!
Some people are under the misconception that they need to learn to live with pain.
Dr. Brian Burns.
It's an indicator that something is wrong. When patients come into our office, they have a number of concerns. That's why we'll take the time to communicate with the patients. We always quote our fees in advance, and we specialize in painless chiropractic.
Dr. Brian Burns. All insurances accepted. Auto and on-the-job injuries paid 100%.
The drug problem in our communities and schools is even worse than most adults imagine. You can be the one to slam the door on drugs in our schools. Make a free call for clear, practical information about what works.
Human traits to animals and inanimate objects. We do it all the time. We really think as if all animals were accurately depicted in Disney cartoons. That we actually think that a fox is sneaky in a human value term, you know. Sneaky, give me that chicken pig. You know? And a wolf is always vicious and predatory, and we're finding out that they are quite noble by certain human standards. They care very much for their sick and wounded. A bear is always depicted as a kind of a big friendly guy. I'm a bear. Big thick haunches on him. With a beautiful black velvety nose that you want to go, eh. They make him a kind of a reliable guy that if you were stuck in an elevator with somebody, may as well be a bear. He could be useful. Mr. Bear, can you reach up there and get them? Well, I don't know, but I'll try. Smokey the Bear has long been portrayed as a kind of a Boy Scout with a Boy Scout hat and a chin strap. Remember, folks, very super serious. You know, only you can prevent forest fires. And I know they know that he doesn't talk and everything, but it's a kind of mentality in which 40 idiots a year visit Yellowstone Park and walk up to a bear and go, "Hiya, Smokey," and Smokey bites his head off. Because no one told him that he's supposed to be in a Boy Scout hat. Every chromosome in his big furry body is going, "Be a bear, all the world." That's all he knows. I don't want to shock anyone here, but, you know, according to Jane Goodall and others, there are chimpanzees in the wild, in Africa, that do not smoke cigars and wear tuxedos. This is not generally known. They're not named Zippy and Bimbo automatically. Seldom do they wear a little bellhop's hat with a chin strap on it. She found out in the wild they eat a lot more meat. We thought, just give them a banana, he's happy. Yeah, they dig bananas. They also dig baboon babies. And they raid them all the time. They're considered dangerous around human babies because they would grab them and eat them. If that sounds terribly barbaric, remember that we eat the babies of other species too when we're hungry. They don't do it out of viciousness, but I mean, I guess you never thought of a chimp that way, right? You think of them more as, look at that, he's wearing spats and a derby, looks like a person. Look at that, 4 hands it looks like. And spectacle, now he's sitting, oh look at that, he's reading the Wall Street Journal, he's sitting down at the table, he's eating my baby! We're very anthropomorphic. I'll give you a good idea. When they sell cockroach spray, they always we give them human personalities and an animation instead of making them impersonal vermin. You know, these little creatures are boogieing in your kitchen. This cry of sheer terror from the lookout, "Jigger's raid!" And in comes this fascist can. Sorry for him, you know. And they boing, and they show them dead with little graves and rest in peace. They're very sick people who make these movies. I wouldn't mind that if the product worked, but I've been dealing with cockroaches all my life in New York, and they don't give a shit about raid. They continue boogieing. They hold their nose if they have one. They go to the next apartment for 4 weeks. Here's a more subtle example. On the side of the can, it may say, "Spray underneath the sink. They like moisture." As if a cockroach can like and dislike and make conscious decisions. They dislike wide open, well-lit, dry spaces. They're bored by television. They love weddings, you know. If you spray underneath the sink, they don't go underneath the sink. They're up in the cabinet attacking the Lorna Dunes. You can't spray the Lorna Dunes, you'll poison yourself. They kill us on direct contact, they claim. Yippee. So does your thumb for nothing. I want you to use 50 cents worth of this poison, that kind of American habit we have of overkill, you know, and getting angry at it. They give you a good death for the money, too, those cockroaches. Crazy. They are 300 million years old. They'll be here a few million years after us, too. They eat the paste from wallpaper. They're not interested in your filet mignon. Not even of your filet mignon. Let me give you an example. Cats. We have this tremendous, you're going to come up and join me in a minute, aren't you? We have this tremendous anthropomorphic fixation with cats where, you know, we go, ooh, look at the way he walks. Look at those eyes. They know something. It's a cat. That's the way he walks. You can't walk like this. You do this to a dog. You go, come here. Come here. He goes, hey, what do you got? Food? What's going on here? Directed behavior. By your terms, he may be a sucker, but, you know. Do this to a cat, it's like you're not doing it. Come here. And he goes, licks his arm. So people put their own value system on, well, he certainly is independent, isn't he? Well, he's independent. I love cats, but I mean, independent. He's independent. Sure, he's independent. He also has a brain the size of a marble. He hasn't had to hunt in centuries. Been inbred for thousands of generations to live in an apartment. I know a lady left her cat alone for a few days. She said, oh, sir, he's going to be bored, she said. He's going to be bored. Bored seems such an inappropriate, you know, people should have left Monopoly out for him. What am I supposed to say? He's going to be bored. What does he do, plan his day? I think I'll go on the windowsill for a half hour. That should carry me into noon. Maybe I'll get lucky, have a cockroach on the sill. Maybe the wind will blow the Venetian blinds. Chase them for a while. I do chase anything that moves. One of the disadvantages of having a brain the size of a marble, unfortunately. We take we train a puppy, always do the same thing. The puppy on the piano for the 90th time. They go, oh, I'm going to take him back. You know, like he was an erector set or something. What do? You put his nose in it, hit him on the ass, and you say, no, 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 very strenuously. You figure you got a nice triple negative incentive going for you. Nose and shit, hit on the ass, and utter disapproval. No, no, no. Figuring the puppy would react like you would react if someone put your nose in and hit you. That sounds logical. Only one thing wrong, he's a dog. It's his business to sniff.
Being a kid isn't easy these days. Take Ben. He plays center forward on the soccer team, and he supports his habit by selling drugs to his younger brother and his friends. Take Allison. At school, she's a popular student leader, but she hates to go home because she fights with her parents about everything. Call us now at Benchmark Regional Hospital of Greater Salt Lake or Riverwood Hospital of Provo.
The grilled shrimp fajita. What fine restaurant creates the new grilled shrimp fajita? Marinated with southwestern flavor, grilled to perfection, and then to complement the shrimp, add scallions, onions, and tomatoes in a soft flour tortilla. What fine restaurant? Noggles, of course. Only Noggles cooks Mexican food like this. The new grilled shrimp fajita, for a limited time only.
Oxidol has something for your whites no other detergent has. Green crystals with color-safe bleach. But guess who's got even more? 20% more of these green crystals with color-safe bleach. It's new bleach-boosted Oxidol. Regular detergent has no bleach. Oxidol does. And now it's got 20% more bleach, so you can get dazzling whites like this. Now, what does new Oxidol have no other detergent has? Guess!
When you can't be there, KUTV Sports brings it all home. Saturday, the University of Utah Utes meet the Colorado State Rams on CSU's home turf. Both teams put the ball in the air, so this should be a battle in the skies. Join KUTV's Bill Howard and color commentator Irv Brown for the kind of coverage only KUTV Sports can provide. It's live football action Saturday morning beginning at noon, only on KUTV Sports.
I want to show you this wonderful little thing. It's kalimba, African thumb piano. You ever see it? It's another in my educational series. Best known for its use in this country by department stores. Come to Jamaica. You feel like a child again there. Jamaica has mountains, waterfalls, poverty. Come see the aftermath of colonialism at its very base. In Jamaica, where the police have complete search and seizure power. Jamaica. We'd like to rip you off for a change. Jamaican Tourist Bureau, 30 in a room, no FM not included, no, April 1st, Battle Creek, Michigan. This is my mouth harp. I'm putting some water in my mouth harp. Make it play. But we like to do a song improv. We do it all the time, and we enjoy it. And we take a chance, sort of. We don't do it every time, but we don't have a set song that we spring on. I promise you that. We try to do it from scratch. And if it works, it's great. You know, audiences love spontaneity. We do. Everybody roots for us. There's a few freaks that kind of like to see the girl drop the baton in the parade. She did it again! Well, everybody has their own thrill. Does anyone have an obscure title? If it works, it looks great. You know, if it doesn't work, you got a couple of ass standing up here, trying to look good, blaming each other. A louder, Phil, a softer, he's new, his cousin died. I'll make enemies. Anyone have an obscure title? Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance. Suddenly I realized the world was turning around me. Sorry. I didn't get anything but Zen. We have to be a little more orderly. Raise your hand and let me like the press conference. Yes. Dear Abby, oh, Dear Abby. Okay. That's a good provocative title. I was on television with her recently, and she was tickling my neck. It was really turned me on. She's 68. Yes. Cows are dumb, Dear Abby. Okay. I think I have enough. I know I've definitely had enough. Okay, let's do a little tune for you now. Can we have some mood lighting, please? Thank you. That's perfect. I think it's Cows Are Dumb and Dear Abby. Phil and I'd like to do a little tune for you now. It's been so good to us in the tour. A tune that was written in Memphis a few years ago by some friends of mine. It up. Dear Abby, won't you answer me? I've got so many problems. My girl left me, my mother hates me. Now there's only you. Get about 1,000 letters. It's hard to make everyone feel better. But dear, dear Abby, I need you so. And I want to know, will I be impotent from eating tangerines? And should I be a man if I join the Marines? And Abby, tell me, is the sun good for my skin? Should I marry my kin? Dear Abby, dear, 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 dear Abby. Here's the finest question of them all. What's the best way to have a ball? Can I find a friend, somebody to love? A little chum for me. And tell me, are cows dumb to me? Dear, dear Abby, are cows dumb? in Culver County Hospital. I feel I may do myself in. I've had enough, and now I'm right here. What lower posture can a human form take to have my last friend be you? Distant pen pal, sort of impersonal type, who reads a million letters, at least your assistants do. Answer me, please. Who will you answer me, please, Abby? Everybody! So much for the false ending of the show.
I thought it would never happen, but it happened. I started listening to FM 100. Yeah, I know I've changed, but so is FM 100. It's not just sleepy instrumentals anymore. They're playing songs I can sing along with by people like Lionel Richie, Neil Diamond, Linda Ronstadt, all my favorites. Easy, enjoyable music without all the hype and clutter you get on most stations. This change was easy for me.
Enjoy Easy Favorites on FM 100.
Nothing measures up to reality like Zenith's giant 35-inch digital TV with full stereo sound. To get any closer to a live performance, you'd need tickets. Zenith. Quality.
Come see the quality and hear the difference in the full line of Zenith stereo products. Available now at ZCMI all locations.
We've learned that the competition is also offering 2 pizzas for 1 price.
We were responding in professional business-like manner. They're a bunch of copycats.
For identical pizza emergencies, it's the 2 for special. Any 2 Godfather's pizzas for 1 low price.
Don't be fooled by imitations.
Emergency delivery at Godfather's Pizza. Check your yellow pages.
Hello, we're the Stonehills. I'm Hillary, and this is my dear husband, Randolph. We'd like to personally extend to you an invitation to come to Marblehead Manor.
Hillary?
We have lots of lovely get-togethers at our home.
You people should be ashamed of yourselves. You have no table manners.
I simply adore it if you could all come and join us at Marblehead Manor.
Hillary, where are we going to put all these people?
The West Wing.
Come home to Marblehead Manor, Saturday afternoons at 5 on KUTV2 together.
I named my new album New Teeth because I had a terrible, terrible year dentally, you know. And I was chewing Bazooka bubblegum recently, a nice double wad. And with that sugar explodes in your mouth in the first 2 minutes, you know. Gives you everything it has and more. It comes out, you know, explodes. And 5 minutes later, you know, you have some... 5 minutes, it becomes pink rubber, right? But now it's exploded, and it went into a leaky filling, and to me, dental pain is the worst of all time. It is. You know how people compare pain? Have you ever heard those conversations? Well, there's nothing like childbirth. It's the worst. Oh, yeah? You ever get kicked in the balls? Oh, yeah? You're all wrong. Kidney stones, you know. The rabies needles in the stomach, you know. Everybody has their own. To me, dental. And the dentist's office is such a drag. It smells some cloves. Everything is teeth. The lamp is a giant molar. Cute motif. Before and after shots of diseased gums on the wall. After 6 months of treatment. After 22. You know. Sit down in his chair. He's got this spittoon that's always going around there. An ecological nightmare. 15,000 gallons of water a day go down the sewer for 10 spits. bad music in the office. He puts a paper bib on you, and first he probes, you know. He takes that probe and he gets into the decay area and kind of tests it and sends you agony. For this, you pay him $10 or something. Then he warms up his weapon, you know, that drill that he controls from the floor there. Woo! 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 He's never satisfied with the point. Woo! I don't believe that'll hurt enough. Woo! Yeah, that'll send him through the ceiling. Woo! Okay, open the hangar, let the airplane in. What are you going to do now, Doc? Well, I'm going to take a steel burr drill, Mr. Klein. Very slow speed, 4 revolutions per minute. We're going to see smoke on this job. We're going to drill through the hard enamel of the tooth into the soft inner pulp, causing you incredible pain. That'll be $25. Open the hangar, let the airplane. I'm 33. Open the hangar, let the air. Forget how old you are. Get the airplane out! Oh, what is it, a B-29? And the water. Get mesmerized by the drain. Well, I think psychologically I'd rather be in the sewer than this. Alice in Wonderland followed it. Then my favorite part comes now, the good old air. What do you want to know? Most dentists are good at lying about how much there is to go. Like, they're always almost through, even if they just start. Almost through. Almost done now. Almost through. 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3, 4. Wednesday, Thursday. Winter, spring. I had one dentist said, if it hurts you, tap me hard on the back. Tap me on the back. I almost broke 3 of his ribs. It's a slightly counterproductive maneuver to hit someone hard on the back with a live drill in your mouth. Unless you're in the market for a 3rd nostril. Hit me on the back. Then he starts loading my mouth with all kinds of passion. You know. I can't talk now. Those clamps that eat into your gum, cotton wads, and then the ultimate humiliation, the sucking question mark. Which can take your tongue with it. It's supposed to keep you from asphyxiating, you know, like an oral Hoover, 4 horsepower. Now my mouth is completely full. I cannot talk. Now he starts conversations with me that I can't finish. He never chooses subjects like the weather that I can answer with a grunt. He always chooses things I feel compelled to answer. I understand your mother's been having an affair with the superintendent. Ooh, ooh. Well, that President Nixon sure got a rough deal. Why don't they get off his back? I'm in tremendous pain. I get a few needles, but the discomfort and pain are always over there. I found nitrous oxide, or laughing gas. Now, it's a different concept in dentistry, mind you. With nitrous oxide, you feel the pain, but you don't give a It's kind of leaving your mouth off for an hour while you come back for it later. The body metabolizes it easily. 2 blows of oxygen, you're really where you started. You go home. You don't have to recuperate in a room or anything. But it's quite a smashing high, and of course they try to prepare you for it with this jargon they learned in gas school, you know. Robert, very calmly, you will feel like you've had several martinis, you know. I'm in total pain, right? The guy's going through the spiel. And, breathe slowly and evenly through this mask. Now, I'll be giving you a mixture of nitrogen and... I said, give me that! Well, I think you've had enough, Mr. I said, give me that! I generally have had enough. It's my pain. How can you know when I've had enough? You can't feel my pain. What are we, the Corsican brothers? Feel, I don't know. Feel good. I know where I am and everything. I feel like I'm vulnerable, like I'm going to say something stupid, you know. I don't know you that well, but I feel like I can say tu-tu-boo-boo-boo-boo. What happened to that awful music you had before? Thank you, Lord, for stopping my leg. Oh, it feels so good. Just sitting down there with foot on the ground like a leg on the beat. Oh, thank you for stopping my leg. Oh, thank you. There it goes again. Thank you. Goes off.
For some time, we've asked people the one thing they thought Mr. Big Paper Towel should be.
Big.
Thirsty.
And no matter who we asked,
Big.
Thirsty.
or in what circumstances,
Big. Thirsty.
the answer was always the same. And happily, that's what Mr. Big Paper Towels are, big and thirsty. Beyond any question, if there's one thing you want in a paper towel,
Big. Thirsty.
this is both of them.
It's very cherry, cherry Coca-Cola. It's got a taste that's hard to beat, cherry Coca-Cola.
Cherry Coke now has more cherry taste than ever before. Try the cherriest cherry Coke ever.
It's very cherry, cherry Coca-Cola. It's got the taste that's all you need.
Try Try Cherry Coke and Diet Cherry Coke. You can't beat the feeling.
The human body. It's a marvel of complex parts working in smooth precision. But when one of those parts needs medical care, specialized skills and knowledge are required. That's where our physicians come in. Our wide range of specialists work together to cover just about every part of your body and every part of your family. So if you want the confidence that comes from complete care, call St. Mark's. We'll help you find a doctor who fits into your family.
Enter a world of lucky ladies and dramatic dancers on the next Entertainment Tonight. First, find out if Sally Field will ever surrender to Michael Caine.
I'm not gonna tell. Do we give away all our secrets here?
Then see how James Woods got his first big break as our special series Breakout continues. Plus, you'll get an exclusive preview of the latest movie moves of Mikhail Baryshnikov in Dancers on the next Entertainment Tonight.
Right after Johnny Carson on KUTV2 Together.
Robert Bork loses round one. Good evening, I'm Michelle King.
And I'm Randall Carlisle. Utah threw an election today, but there was more avoiding than voting. KUTV News is next.
Buy at Wholesale's success has been built upon one concept, that the wise comparison shopper will choose to stop paying retail and start buying wholesale. Now we're opening a second Buy at Wholesale warehouse just east of I-15 at 21st South, making it even easier for you to stop paying retail. Come into either Buy at Wholesale location during our grand opening, and we'll give you a 30-day free membership, a copy of our comparison price list that is appearing in the newspaper, and a sticker showing that you have joined the wise shoppers who have stopped paying retail and now buy at wholesale.
I've got newer jeans in my closet, but these are the ones I wear. They're worn, faded, kind of ratty around the edges. Sort of like my U.S. West Direct Yellow Pages. This is the one I keep on my phone, because I always find lots more information on whatever I'm looking for. Maybe that's why it's got that lived-in look. Just like my jeans.
U.S. West Direct, the one that gets used.
20th Century Fox presents a new film by Rob Reiner, The Princess Bride.
I fear I'll never see you again.
Of course you will.
But how can you be sure?
This is true love. You think this happens every day?
Hold it, hold it. Is this a kissing book?
Wait, just wait. The Princess Bride, a comic tale of true love and high adventure. Rated PG.
Starts Friday at a theater near you. This is Channel 2, Salt Lake City. All tonight's news with Randall Carlisle, Michelle King, Mark Eubank has the weather, and David Fox, the sports. This is KUTV News.
Good evening. 30 Utah cities and towns held municipal elections today, and not many voters turned out. 3 large cities, Salt Lake, Ogden, and West Valley, held primary elections for mayor.
Well, the rest of the primaries were for city council positions. KUTV's Rod Decker is here now with the results of the Salt Lake City primary. And Rod, as expected, looks like a big win. No surprise for Mayor Palmer DePaulis.
Indeed, it was a big win. Incumbent Mayor Palmer DePaulis won more than 3 times as many votes as both of his primary opponents put together. Very impressive. A newcomer, Ernest Dixon, a Republican, secured a place on the ballot next November as DePaulis' opponent. Now, the results, as you can see here, are DePaulis, 4,674. This is with 78% of the vote counted. Dixon, 969. And Scott Breen, 436 votes. Now, Scott Breen's a socialist worker candidate who said from the very beginning that he was more interested in getting his ideas across than in getting votes. You see Scott Breen there, and he's a member of the Marxist Socialist Workers Party. DePaulis, besides having a big lead in votes, also has a big lead in money. He has spent $15,000 already. He has $43,000 in the bank. In contrast, Dixon has spent just over $300, and he has no money in his campaign fund. So as we head into the final election next month, we have Palmer DePaulis with a 3-to-1 lead in votes, with an even greater lead in money, and it looks like he is a prohibitive favorite over Republican Ernest Dixon. Randall?
All of this not much of a surprise, though.
That's true. It was never thought that he would face a really serious race. Dixon is a Republican, but he does not have the official support of the Republican Party.
All right. Thank you, Rod.
And for more on today's primary, let's go live to one of those candidates, incumbent Palmer DePaulis. He's standing by live at his election headquarters in Salt Lake City now. Mayor, obviously we said no big surprises, but I imagine you're a little excited just the same.
I am, very much so.
It strikes me that this is the reverse of the last election you were involved in. You just heard Rod talking about your monetary figures as opposed to your next closest opponent. Are you worried that there might be a backfire because you seem so strong and powerful right now?
Well, I've been worried about the turnout, Randall, and that has concerned us a lot, getting our supporters to the polls. And I think it's evident from the results that you see, even though I have a higher percentage and have the lead I do, I'm very concerned that our supporters are not getting to the polls because they're taking it for granted.
What you say, you've got about 6,000 votes. 6,000 people came out. Now, that's under 10% of the voters in Salt Lake City. Isn't that right, Mayor?
That's right, Rod. To us, it represented, we knew that we would probably see a low voter turnout, particularly in the primary. We did not want to take it for granted. I think that we have a good, solid showing, but to me, I think the real question is the apathy involved in the race itself.
And I presume that's where your campaign is going to be headed for the next couple of weeks, then?
That's right. I don't want to take anything for granted. We don't want anything to happen that we're not expecting, and I think what we're going to do is try and get a strong get-out-the-vote effort for the final. All
right, a victory for Mayor Palmer DePaulis, and we should point out that at 11:30 we will be talking with Mayor DePaulis in our studio, so he will drive out here between now and then. Any reaction to what he said? He's concerned, obviously, Rod, about the fact that there is some apathy.
Well, he's concerned, but if you win 77%, even if it's a low turnout, you're not that concerned. You'd rather have 77% with a low turnout than 20% with a high one. This was unusual, Randall, in this respect. There were originally 6 candidates in this primary election, but then 3 of them failed to comply, turning in financial reports as of last week. Ernest Dixon, the Republican, pointed that out to city officials. City officials eliminated 3 candidates from the ballot. Too late. Their names were already printed on the ballot. They had to cross them out by hand, something that hasn't happened before in my memory.
It was an interesting turn of events just a day before the election. As we said, it looks like Mayor DePaulis' challenger in next month's general election will be Ernest Dixon. Let's go live to him now at his home in Salt Lake City. Mr. Dixon, your reaction to what happened tonight, were you surprised or did you expect that?
I'm pleased, let's say it that way. I'm a little overcome here.
It sounds like you're relieved.
No, not really. I have never been in politics before. I would rather see common people out running for these kind of offices than professional politicians, people who do it year after year, term after term.
Mayor DePaulis said he was concerned about voter apathy. What are you going to be doing in the next few weeks to campaign against him?
Likewise, let's say I'm concerned about voter apathy, but I'm concerned more because it's a right and a privilege that we have that many countries don't have. I don't think that I need to campaign against the mayor, the incumbent. I think that what I need to do is express my concerns for our city and where we're headed and what we can do to improve that city.
With the monetary difference and the huge vote tally difference tonight, do you realistically believe you have a chance in November?
I won't say no. I shouldn't anyway. But I've basically put this together myself. I've had some friends, but 4 so far, that have come forth and offered to help place yard signs. And I have financed this myself. I don't want to ever be considered in someone else's debt as far as financial, lobbying, promises made to people, let them buy me off. No way.
All right. Thank you very much, Ernest Dixon, the challenger for Mayor Palmer DePaulis in the November election. In another major mayoral contest, incumbent West Valley Mayor Brent Anderson appears to have won the primary in his city. He will face Gerald Wright in the November final elections. Now, the results, as we see them on the screen, with 100% of the vote in, Anderson has 43% of the vote. Wright, who he will face in November, has 33% of the vote. And Tuttle, 23% of the vote. He is a state representative, and he appears to be eliminated. He is eliminated. That's 100% of the vote in. You'll remember that Anderson was appointed acting mayor when West Valley Mayor Mike Embley had to resign after he was charged with soliciting a sex decoy. Anderson is now running for his first elective term.
And there's also a mayor's race in Ogden, and the turnout there for today's primary was a little surprising. And for details on that, let's go now live to Rod Arquette in our Northern Utah newsroom. Rod?
Well, Michelle, Ogden probably broke the mold as far as elections and municipal elections are concerned along the Wasatch Front tonight. Unlike many other communities, voter turnout here in Ogden was higher than expected. Now, city officials say interest in the primary election was high because of the mayor's race, where 4 candidates were running to replace outgoing Mayor Bob Matson. The two-term mayor decided not to seek re-election this year so he could devote more time to his business. Nearly 7,000 voters cast ballots today. That's double the amount that participated in the last city-wide election, or about 21% of the voters. Now, in that mayor's race tonight, a bit of a surprise. 47-year-old Scott Snedden, and we'll look at those results here in just a minute. A member of the city council won the primary election for the mayor's race. Mr. Snedden is a media specialist with the local school district. He was the winner, beating another member of the city council, Clifford Goff. You can see with all the votes in, Snedden won over Goff with about 400 votes. Those two men will now square off in the November general election. 2 other candidates, former school board member Sandra Hansen and Dar Belknap, finished a distant 3rd and 4th. Neither Snedden nor Goff were available for comment tonight because of prior engagements. We hope to hear from them during our election wrap-up tonight at 11:30, where we'll also look at some of the more interesting city council races here in Ogden. There was one real tight race, and we'll have that for you at 11:30.
All right, thank you, Rod. And, we will be looking at the results from all the races around the state tonight at 11:30 and interviews with many of the winners. So we hope you stick around for that. But up next on this newscast, details on another vote, the one for a Supreme Court nominee.
And anger over the release of a convicted child molester. We'll have those and other stories when KUTV News returns.
At Meineke,
I'm not going to pay a lot for this muffler.
you're not going to pay a lot. Our quality Everlast mufflers are priced from just $18.93 installed.
More fun, 'cause we're the Weinstocks.
Weinstocks Fall Sale on now, featuring 20 to 50% savings store-wide. More than ever, shop your Weinstocks.
We got 'em broiled on the grill that grates. We got 'em frying up, served with a steak. It's a Sizzler Shrimp Fest, Shrimp Fest.
Okay, Mark, in this slide presentation for Acura, Utah, we'll start off with the most important thing, the address, 4595 South State of Murray.
Tom, the fact that they have the best selection and factory-grade service is what's most important.
No, Mark, it's the Murray location.
No, it's service and selection, Tom.
Mark, location.
Tom, huge selection, top-grade service.
4595 South State.
It is service and selection, Tom.
Location.
Tom, don't touch that button. It's service and selection.
It is location.
Please. You are driving me crazy. Come on.
I'm going to slap your little fingers.
Please don't leave my fingers.
Convicted child molester Arden Brett Bullock has been ordered set free on $60,000 cash bail. Bullock's release from the state prison has triggered a wave of criticism from his victim's parents. The Utah Supreme Court ordered his release last week after ruling that Judge Rodney Page abused his discretion in denying bail. The High Court said it found no evidence Bullock will be a threat to the community while appealing his case. Now, the parent of a victim disagrees with that point of view.
This man has threatened to harm us and even kill us if these children talked about and told people what he did to them. And since they have now testified and done that, all of us are very fearful for our lives.
I take that very personally because I happen to believe my husband is innocent, and I feel that he is due his due process of law.
Chris Bullock says she is confident she can raise the $60,000 needed to set her husband free. It could be 2 years before a decision is reached on Bullock's Supreme Court appeal. Michelle?
There's a new French connection, a cocaine connection, but today the biggest cocaine smuggling deal in French history was busted. For weeks, police have been all over Europe following a couple of known drug smugglers, people involved with the infamous Colombia drug cartel. Well, last week, smugglers reportedly paid a Bogota airport official $200,000 to conceal French-bound cocaine in 2 suitcases. Well, today in Paris, police moved in and seized the shipment, almost $2.5 million worth, and then arrested 5 people from Colombia and Florida. But today's bust only made a dent in the European drug flow, and officials are worried that Europe is about to be hit by the same kind of Colombian coke epidemic that's occurred in the U.S. Well, Wall Street set a record today, but it's not one that it's enjoying. The Dow Jones Industrial Average had its biggest one-day drop ever. The Dow fell about 91.5 points to close at 2548.63. Analysts blame the drop on fear of inflation and rising interest rates. But I don't suppose there's any worry about a drop in the temperature, right?
No, no, not really.
It's going to stay the same.
And it's not really orange. It certainly isn't blood red, but it's a little bit shadowed. The moon, that is. We'll tell you more about it after this.
The way cars are changing, you never know what's coming next. That's why you may want Chevron Supreme with Tetraline. Controls deposits while cleaning not just fuel injectors, complete intake systems. High-octane Chevron Supreme delivers high performance no matter what car you drive. Chevron Supreme.
We wanted to compare our Savin 7065 to a Xerox 1065 to show that theirs takes almost twice as long to give you your first copy, and that they have only 2 reduction modes and 1 enlargement instead of 4 and 3. And that only the Savin automatically copies both sides of an original. We really did want to show you these differences between our Savin 7065 and a Xerox 1065, but